Psycho Boost, but now that it can't do that, it's that role of being like the safe lead, make the shields work, and then play from there. It's not the same. It's really not.
Oh.
Oh man!
Now you just lead acid spray or close combat and switch out.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, I'm live right now. Just updating the title.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me know. Should work. Right. Oh, okay. Let's Okay, all right. Okay, Mr. Valor says that, well, Chris says that he's confused AF. You need to set him straight.
All right.
Okay, what do you guys what do you guys want to start? We want to talk about Go Battle League first. Or you want to talk about the system change, or you want to dive into new moves, old moves?
Any of those. That sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
Do what?
Oh, let's talk about Go Battle League first.
Yeah, let's talk about Go Battle League.
Sure.
So, Go Battle League, they're gonna play all three leagues. A little bit of a surprise, to be honest. And looks like they're gonna rotate between the different leagues, which I think is common in other games. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then looks like they're gonna have cumulative. You can go up in rank, so you can't go down in rank. But looks like what's going to be more important for top battlers is going to be more your rating, right? Which is going to be similar to like if you play chess, like your chess rating.
Yep.
Did
they mention how long the seasons would be?
It does. I don't even know if it will rotate throughout a season. That's true. It doesn't say that.
It could do like by actual season, and then just do Great League a month, Ultra League a month, Master League a month. Or it could follow what they're currently doing, and that's like basically an event a week, and then rotate weekly on Tuesdays or Fridays, whatever. It'd be interesting to see, and I think it'll make it more interesting either way. I think either way could work. I'm not really sure.
It'll be really interesting to see if like the highest ranked people are ones who excel at a particular league, or like the ones who are good across the board. You know,
right?
Yeah.
I'm meant to see how those rankings work out and play out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very curious on how many people will dive into Ultra and Masters, or how many people will be deterred by the fact that it's that they're doing all three instead of like allowing you to pick and specialize in one league.
People are definitely going to have their preferred league, but I think it's going to be important to at least be competent in all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like the only restriction right now is the species clause, like no same species, which I like a lot.
No, me too. Yeah,
I think like no one wants to face like 3 Dialgas or 3 Girautinas or
triple Azumarill and Great
triple
League.
Azumarill, right? Like, all this stuff.
First month Boulder all over again.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
double Skarmory.
I think that's really good. I'm gonna be interested in seeing they haven't talked about this, but like leaderboards, like of course we're gonna all know each other's ratings, right? People will post it on Twitter, and I'm sure there's gonna be a race to who's gonna get to rank 10 first.
First to rank 10.
Yep.
It's gonna be
You're
intense.
Gonna get walking if you're gonna do that.
You're gonna see HouseStark running like he's Rocky, right? Up the stairs, like
running exactly 6 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be pretty intense. But I think it's really good. I'm really hoping that it ultimately engages way more players.
I hope it will. Yeah.
I would love to see like 1 million players. I don't think we'll
Right.
get that far, but 1 million players actively participating in Go Battle League. That'll be like super awesome.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
And hopefully it'll pay off for them. No discussions on restrictions of meta, and I don't expect them in the first season to do anything drastic.
I agree.
Especially like Ultra and Masters. I think they probably want people to essentially grind up to like what they think is a good set of teams and anti meta of the teams, and then maybe hopefully they throw in some rules and restriction.
Right.
When I compare it to like in VGC, they drop a set of rules like at the beginning of the season, and that carries throughout the season. And then each year, they update the set of rules. Like certain Pokemon are banned in TGC, certain cards are banned, certain decks are used. And I could definitely see that happening in Go Battle League over time. But I think first season, like you're just gonna have to get really good at mastering some cores or trying to
I mean,
counter.
general is a lot of fun either way. So.
Yeah. I was kind of discussing with like my local group and like maybe posting it on Twitter too, the thought of like tournament mode where you're just given the Pokemon, you select the moves and then you go into battle that way. It would open it up to the audience, for the general audience to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and it would put you in kind of like a tournament setting where you win the battles, you go up, and then you get your rank at the end. I think that would be a good way to introduce people that don't necessarily have Pokemon, especially in the Ultra League. Since most people are building up things for Great League and probably already have things for the Master League from rating, it would be a big help to those people that would need to have some access problems to the Ultra League for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and I've seen some like I've been watching a lot of Sword and Shield YouTubers because I like watching the battles and trying to like understand like what might come into to PvP. So I watched a lot of
Right.
When it was like Let's Go. I watched a lot of Superpower, so I was really excited about it. But I think like a lot of we'll see a lot of interesting team comps in tournament modes that could come into play.
For sure.
Okay, great. Any other thoughts? I think we're just really excited. We'll see when it drops. And
I do hope that people will do that and Sylph.
Yeah.
I would hope that they wouldn't, have to migrate over,
Sure.
Yeah, I did see a poll. Someone, I don't know who
It was
did
King,
it.
I think.
I think it was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people said they would do both, so
Right, which is good. Yeah.
I like that response, the initial response from the majority of people.
Yeah, there's still a great community through the Sylph. There's still competitive PvP if you don't want to.
Hopefully they build off each other.
Yeah. Thanks.
But,
So thanks, Drew, for this super chat. He said, "Will Sylph Arena still be relevant after Go Battle League?" I think like answer that question, and hopefully it's like whatever the saying is, like waters raise all tides or whatever, right? Or the tides raise all boats.
It'll make it better, I think.
Yeah, and I think it'll hopefully introduce players to like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing the 2 weeks of Great League. Like, where can I do more of it? And then hopefully,
exactly.
I know like Purple Kyogre's in the chat, and I'm sure he'll just talk about Go Battle League stuff, and then some people will see like his Sylph Arena battles and whatnot, and hopefully be engaged in that. So I definitely expect that there's going to be, at least I hope, because I think there's definitely play for both. There's certainly not one replacing the other, but it should be interesting. This is what we wanted. In early 2020. We're still waiting for that video though.
Yeah, right.
From the original, they're like, we're gonna be dropping a video soon. I don't think they know what what soon means in internet terms. Right?
You're taking a note from Blizzard.
Yeah.
It is nice that they seem to be all in on PvP. With doing this and the move updates, they seem to be actually committing to it.
Yep.
So it won't go. They're gonna try and make it as good as possible, which I think is good.
Yeah. I think maybe one last thing for like the Battle League is maybe hold off on spending your dust to unlock the second moves for your Ultra League and your Master League Pokemon. There still could be more updates like this before the Battle League comes.
Yeah.
So Don't feel bad and power up a 14 attack IV Dialga and then realize that you need 15 for CMP. And so, just save your dust.
Or these could come back, right? So, but they're definitely one thing you can always tell that there's like a spin on each of these events from a PvP perspective. Like, come on, they were spawning Dragonairs when it's Timeless Cup. Like, this is that's definitely no coincidence. There's definitely
of course not.
some influence from some of the more PvP oriented people at Niantic. So really appreciate what they're doing.
I really feel bad for all of the people who are locked into remote tournaments with Return Dragonairs.
Oh man, that
sucks.
Back in the chat.
Yeah. Well, if you land it, it's like landing a hyper beam now, right? So,
right?
True.
Basically hyper beam.
Yeah. Now you have some closing power, right? So people are always complaining with return. You can't close in games, but man,
now you can
land that return. It's like landing a skull bash. So
like landing a solar beam with Sunny Cast.
Yeah, exactly. No super effective.
It's still less DPE than Stab Dragon Pulse, though, right?
Stab Dragon Pulse is what, 60, 90?
I think.
So let me see here.
And with Stab, it would. I think it's still a little more.
Yeah, it would make it. Let's see here. I can just do the calculations. 60 then times 1. So that'd be 1.8. And and let's see here. Return is it's actually 1 point. Is that right? Am I looking this right? Let's see. Dragon Pulse. Oh, it's actually oh no, interesting. Return is actually more DP even after Stab.
Really? Huh.
If I'm looking at that right.
So I guess it's not totally useless. It takes longer to get to, but
that's pretty good. It might actually,
not bad. Yeah.
You might actually make a case like if you want to run the real closing move, you run return.
What are the numbers on frustration now?
It's
the same.
Yeah, it's. I think it's like I think it's 70 and 10 damage still. So.
Oh wait, really? Wait, really?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Oh, then never.
Maybe for those times you really want to farm up, but you're like, I don't know how to do like the undercharging calculations, so I'm just gonna do.
I thought they gave it more damage than that. Never mind.
Oh my god, that's so good.
That's so bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's actually return is actually a little bit. Is actually more energy efficient than Skull Bash too. Same amount of damage, 5 less energy. That's actually pretty good. Like you just got to play it completely differently than where you were beforehand. That's actually not bad. Like I can't wait till PV Poke updates and we can take a look at those simulations. But that's actually pretty good. So don't feel so bad for those people. With,
that's true.
Return.
It could be worse.
It could actually end up saving them.
Especially because for Dragonair, that wasn't the bait. The real people that are going to lose out are the people who needed that to be the bait move. Like Bennett.
I feel bad that people who have done return Dragon Pulse.
Are people running that?
I think definitely. Like I don't think a lot of people are.
You need Aquatail.
Definitely people that are trying to be cheeky.
You're right. That would be the problem.
Now you're like you only got one shot at a charge move.
Yeah.
In almost any situation. So Dragon Pulse is not that great a move, so that's the reason why it has that potential. So pretty interesting. Okay. Let's go to updates to the new combat system. These ones haven't come into effect yet. Hopefully Niantic will let us know. But 2 pretty big updates. The first one is that the attack stat will determine who goes first. Will break CMP. So they were fully aware that there's CMP, right? And these
and there was an issue with it. Yeah,
there's an issue with it, and it could really change matches. And I personally, like, I know a lot of people were advocating for speed stat, and I was kind of advocating it for it too. I did say that I was going to add complexity because it's another stat that people have to figure out, and does it impact? How do you retroactively do it, and how does it impact CP and all that stuff? But now just doing it by attack stat, I think is actually a pretty good balance. I know it's
I like it a lot, to be honest.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
no, go ahead, Alex.
I think it makes Pokemon that are like very high attack weighted. It gives them like a small competitive edge, like fire types, like Charizard, or things like that. That most
Haunter.
of the time, Haunter, obviously.
Yeah, Hunter.
But now they have like more playability. They can come in and when there's going to be a CMP tie, you can win that every single time. So that's
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives them a slight buff. It's not too overpowered, right? Because obviously the bulk still matters, but it's a really nice balance and allows you to like. For me, I really didn't like when like that there was like one set of IV combinations that was the best in 95% of scenarios, right?
Right. I think now you have some
trade-offs that you can think about and play into consideration and really think about it.
I also really like the consistency. You can build the team knowing when you'll get CMP and when you won't get CMP. You can like plan that into your lines as opposed to the nonsense that we've had before where it's just alternating or who locks in first or whatever it was.
You're like,
you can actually plan strategies around like, okay, this guy is going to die a little faster, but when he's there, I know I'll get CMP, and then you can plan your game that way,
Which I think is great. I think there was like a lot of different solutions out there. Simultaneous charge moves and when to be honest, I wasn't a fan of simultaneous charge moves because I think it would end up in too many ties.
Yeah.
Right.
And just like then you end up in like 10 sets of matches and
take
way too
long.
Agree. And I think adding this one, acknowledging, making it very clear and really great communication on their part on how to win CMP, and I think that's
for sure
really good job on their part. The second one, switching Pokemon now clears any change to its attack and defense, which when I first read this, I didn't realize that there was self debuffs and all this stuff. So I'm like, oh man, it really nerfs nerfs debuffers, which is somewhat true for sure. But it really, I think the bigger part is like it really buffs those ones that have the self debuffing moves,
and it adds a new layer of strategy, like we were talking about earlier, where you can just use a move and switch out, and you'll be fine again.
Yeah, exactly. And we definitely saw like how annoying like constant bubble beams from Suicune or these
Mantine.
other or Mantine, these other debuffers that just like basically make your Pokemon useless, and then you kind of like just stay in the match. But now you have to think like a little bit more dynamically. So I think it's
right. You'll have to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of losing switch priority with losing the buff, or the debuff.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I think
it's pretty significant nerf for Power Up Punch too, because now you can use a Power Up Punch. If you use a Power Up Punch, your opponent all they need to do is switch into a hard counter, and then the effect of Power Up Punch is gone because you need to switch out.
Yeah, and I was talking with Gotem beforehand. Like you can bait your opponent. You're like, oh, you might be in a slightly losing matchup. You kind of stay in because they don't think you have like a better switch in, and then they buff up once, and then you come in. They're like, oh man, gotta get out of here. Clear their debuff, and then
like if you're playing a Kingdom meta and you got Lucario against something that's fairly neutral with, and you get the Power Up Punch. You used to have that Power Up Punch, that buff, for the close later on, and now you won't have that anymore. So
yeah. And I was also talking earlier about like how it is an indirect nerf to the Relicanths and the Venomoths that get the boost, because if you do get the boost and they throw out their Fire Spin or their Razor Leaf,
right.
Really are like, oh man, I gotta switch out, and then you get stuck in a bad switch, or you stay in and go for the Ancient Power or the Poison Fangs or whatever to try and even it out a little bit, but it does create that bit of a situation where you can't hold on to the buff and then come back out with it out.
Yeah, so. I think now the best way to play these Pokemon is like you have to get the buff in a situation where you've already switched in and it's your safe switch or something, and come into it and your opponent's already locked in, so you can boost up like 1 or 2 times or whatever it is, and then try to take advantage of that with the next Pokemon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think safe
lock-in
switches.
strats are definitely going to be key because, like you said, if you can lock into a matchup that you like and you don't have to switch, then that's probably what you want to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, crazy. Oh man. Ooh, I like these both. We'll see if this clearing of debuffs and will be too OP, and that's something that they'll evaluate. This is not something that you could easily play out in Sims, right?
Right.
Because like once
No, you
clearing
can't,
all that stuff happens, so it'll really be up to the gameplay and then our feedback back to Niantic, which they've done a tremendous job listening. Like
for sure.
So
definitely recently.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the updates to the existing moves. Pretty exciting to. I really like how they're not only adding new moves in, but they're looking at the meta and saying like, okay, which moves need to be changed and adjusted to like change the balance of in this case they were mostly focusing on Ultra and Masters, but certainly a lot of implications to to Great League. So the first one, Night Slash energy has been reduced in trainer battles and now has a chance to greatly increase attack stats. So 2 buffs, one not way cheaper, 40 to 35, which can have some like pretty big implications for some Pokemon. Like for example, Primate. Now you're talking about instead of doing 6 counters to Night Slash, you're talking about 5, which is very important for a Pokemon that's as squishy as that. And I'm sure there's any other one Pokemon.
Scizor?
Scizor, really good.
Scizor, yeah.
But maybe my favorite Fury Cutter user, Gliscor.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be talking about Gliscor a lot, but man, Gliscor looks really nice, and I think having this Night Slash gives us some like really interesting.
What's the second move on that? Is that Earthquake or is it?
Man, there's a lot of moves that you can run it.
You can also do Airlace too.
We have
Airlace,
and we're also gonna talk about Sand Tomb later on. So there's certainly a lot of strats that you can run. Like you can run like a bait nuke, right? You can treat it similar to like Acid Spray in a nuke, right? With Sand Tomb. So there's gonna be a lot of different play and something you're gonna really pay attention to. And Fury Cutter definitely generates energy very quickly.
Right.
Any other?
You can see like an interesting scenario with Primate with counter Night Slash close combat. We'll get to close combat soon too. Where if you proc an early Night Slash, then you can just go for those close combat nukes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, I wasn't even thinking about. Wow. Oh, I wasn't even thinking about. I was like, oh, it does cross chops legacy and whatnot.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about. Oh man, if you land a close combat on a Primate has like ridiculous attack sets, like 150 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my, and you
give it
could really,
2 times.
You could really hurt. Oh man, that would be.
It'd be like focus blasting everything with like what is it like frenzy plant energy.
Yeah. Isn't more than what's close combat? It's
45 energy.
Yeah.
45 for 100.
Yep.
45 for 100.
Oh man. So it is like focus blasting everything. Oh my gosh. Like, oh man.
Another Pokemon with Night Slash is Crawdaunt.
Oh yeah.
Snarl, Bubble Beam, and
boost for days. And bust for days.
Bust for days, and you still have Crabhammer too if you want to do some strong. But man, those waterfalls on Claudon, like really hurt. It's like a little bit surprising. It's not. Yeah, it's very surprising when I lost to one. So, crazy. What's the percentage on the greatly increase on the? And that's
it's 12.5% chance.
Ooh, that's actually better than like Earth Power and Psychic Debuff.
Yep.
So, and it's cheap too. So
it's
super cheap.
Silverwind too, right? Or
Silverwind and those ones are like 20%, I think.
I think they're 10%.
Oh, they're 10%.
Yeah,
10%.
Right.
20% if you if I'm playing.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty good. So, if you get a spammy Pokemon doing a lot of Night Slashes.
Oh my gosh!
For sure, yeah.
You get them both quick. Oh.
It pairs really well with Fury Cutter.
Oh man. So good. That's crazy. Like, yeah, you're talking about like, was it 9? No, yeah, was it 9 seconds to get to 2 or something? And no, maybe anyways, I don't know the numbers off top of my head, but pretty quick. Next one, maybe the most broken of any of these updates.
It's broken.
Yes.
Icy Wind.
Have to do something with it. It's too good.
Yeah, I think it will eventually be nerfed, but Icy Wind, 45 energy, 60 damage, right? That's the move before the update, and no changes to that. And then the move now decreases your opponent's attack stat when used. So every time you do an Icy Wind, attack debuff. So like a better version of Bubble Beam.
Right. While doing more damage at the same time. And it's the best combination of all the debuffs and buff moves because it does damage, it's energy efficient, and it has a debuff. So it's too good.
Yeah, man, that's
There's a few standouts for Icy Wind. We already looked at Dugong for the current cup, and it looks like it's already banned. It's just too good. Just so good.
Yeah.
But you also have like Articuno with Ice Shard, Ancient Power, and Icy Wind. Could be an interesting like maybe Ultra League kind of a pick.
Yeah.
Slow things down. That'd be pretty cool. Drift Blim with Icy Wind. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And then, also Cloister, with Avalanche, Ice Shard, which is currently eligible for the current cup. So, interesting choice.
The problem is that Avalanche is already so good that it's not huge.
Yeah.
But now you might, that's true.
Now you can play the nuke bait game,
Yeah.
Or they just Avalanche as you win.
Right.
Yeah.
Just fake the Hydro Pumps and then go for Icy Wind and then just beat them down. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, lots of interesting Pokemon. So, it should be very interesting to see how that one plays out. Then, probably the only the only nerf in this update, I think, is Hydro Cannon going from I think 40-90 to 40-80.
Right.
I feel like this is necessary though. Like
it's too good.
Swampert was so good in all three leagues.
Yeah.
It was destroying every meta.
Yeah, it was probably the only Pokemon that was top 10 in all three leagues.
Yeah.
Yep. It's still going to be very good. I mean, it's still surf damage with 15 more energy. Surf energy with 15 more damage, but it's a little more reasonable now,
Right. I mean, I think it's still really good, and I don't see any issue with still having Swampert being one of the preferred.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm waiting for the PvPoke to update to see. I think one pivotal thing is like, especially in Open Masters, whether or not it still wins the Skarmory matchup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right, because I think that's going to be a pretty important matchup for it to at least to factor in on its relevancy. But still good. 40-80, still really great. Like very few moves are a little more now, but very few moves have that 2-to-1 and higher ratio.
Right.
So
especially with such a low energy requirement, a lot of the 2-to-1s have higher energy requirements, but to spam that kind of damage is really good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, next one. Kind of a nerf, kind of not a nerf, right? Depends on how you play it out. Frustration and return.
Yep.
They now take longer in training battles and deal more damage. This kind of makes sense since all Shadow Pokemon now have access to frustration and return through purifying. We want to make sure these attacks do not become too all-purpose, which is true, right? Like at 40 energy, they became like if you only had only had nukes, now you have a potential bait move.
Yes.
Right. Which wasn't too broken. Like I think it was like 40-50 or 50-40, depending on how you want to say it. But it did it did like turn some Pokemon like Banette and Sandslash, giving them that bait option when the original intention of those Pokemon wasn't necessarily to have a bait option.
Yeah, it really hurts Banette.
It hurts Banette a lot. Sorry, the Nut 93. I'm sure he's.
I know.
He's so sad right now.
Felix is very sad right now.
I know he's trying desperately to get Banette to work, and you absolutely need return to make it work. And yep, time to make a new team, Nut. Sorry, buddy.
But the question is, are we gonna see a complete flip of it? Are we gonna is now return gonna be the nuke that non-nuking Pokemon have?
Yeah, I think so. I was looking at this.
It's a pretty good move. It's a pretty good move.
So Marshtomp did not have a nuke before, and now it does.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Like, Pokemon like that, that have had like a lot of like really good baiting moves. Now that have a really good hard hitting move, it could see some more play.
Are there any normal Pokemon that get returned for the stab?
Porygon.
Oh,
But he's already got Hyper Beam. That's the problem.
Yeah, a lot of these normal type Pokemon. Obviously Snorlax. But Snorlax would be too high for Great League. I'm trying to think of what do you get in that? What do you get in that normal thing? Porygon. I'm trying to think of that normal. Not it doesn't mean weak. Snorlax.
Eradicate.
Oh, Eradicate. Okay.
But it already gets Hyper Beam too.
It already gets Hyper Beam. Yeah.
Maybe Vigoroth when he gets return. Oh, okay.
That would be good.
Slam.
It has Body Slam already, which is that more energy efficient? Maybe not actually. Let's see here. Body Slam is it's less energy efficient, but half the energy. Probably not.
You'd probably use Body Slam most of the time.
But it really gives like some viable options. Maybe like another one that doesn't have a nuke, like Scyther. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, because what does it get? Aerial Ace, X Scissor.
But it gets Night Slash, right?
Oh, it gets Night Slash, yeah. But now you might have return. So I think there's gonna be some of that analysis going forward. But Marshtomp is a really, really excellent example.
The thing is, Marshtomp already had like such good moves. Like, what do you lose? What do you take off? Do you have to keep sure.
But like ground and water have like pretty similar coverage.
That's true.
Right? Yeah. Like
so would you run Surf and then return?
Surf then return? Yeah. I think that's the potential play. And in some cups, like especially with like it could be a pretty big game changer. Like man, if you land a return on a Venusaur, like that's gonna hit it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Ooh, maybe Lanoon, give it stab return, and make you cast Discovery on God or Thunder.
Shadow Claw generates energy pretty quick. That's a good one.
I like that. Yeah.
That's not in it's not
current. Yeah, you can't get
Not current. No.
Yeah, it's a whole set of new analysis, right? So definitely, even if you're locked in your remote lobbies, and as we talked about earlier, actually more energy efficient than Dragon Pulse. And like if you can only get off one charge move, return is now the one you want to get off.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah, like think about when you hit a Dragon Pulse on it's not more energy efficient and more energy, which means it does more absolute damage. Like think about when you hit a Dragon Pulse on a Lapras. Now you're hitting a return on a Lapras.
Right.
Like that. Oh, man, I don't want to be that Lapras or that Celio where you get hit by. Oh man,
that's true.
Ooh, that's great closing opportunity. So, Mudslap got increased from like a pretty bad damage move. I think it was like 9 and it was 8
damage.
8 damage. Now it's 11.
It was. I think it was 3 energy return before, and I think it's 3.7 now.
I think it was 2 point. Let me see. Actually, I have this here. Was it?
I thought it was 3 and then 2.5 energy.
You're right. So it's 3. Yeah, it was 9 damage, 3 turns, so 3. Now it's 11, 3.67, a new number like for DP that we haven't seen. A little bit more than like counter, a little bit more than is it counter or shadow? Let me see here. These 3.5s are a little bit more than like Frost Breath and Steel Wing, but less than like counter and Dragon Breath and Confusion. Rest of them. So gonna have
it's It's like a worse Smackdown, a worse Ice Fang, a worse Waterfall.
Does it? It certainly helps, but are there any like notable Pokemon in Great League or in PvP in general that have Mud Slap that is really gonna?
Does it make Extra Gel any better? Maybe.
Yeah.
Which one?
Excadrill in
Extra Gel. It's still pretty bad overall, but that and Claydol are the only two Pokemon I can think of that actually ever thought of.
Yeah, Claydol now has the option for going for all ground moves, which is pretty interesting. Gastrodon now has an actual fast move, which is pretty interesting.
The thing is with Claydol, its ground chargings are so good that you don't really need that ground damage. You're not like ever hurting for ground damage, and Confusion's objectively better. So I feel like you're still not going to use it very often.
Sure.
Yeah. You have Golark as well.
Yeah.
Golark. Yeah.
It's just the problem. The problem with Mud Slap though is that Mud Shot exists, and everything that has Mud Slap wants to use a different move to generate energy to use their faster charge moves. So Powder Snow, Mud Shot, Poison Jab, Confusion, Donphan with the counter, like these. They need to use their charge moves to create that advantage. Maybe if Mud Slap had 13 power, it could maybe see some interesting play. But
it's still a below average move. Most Pokemon will still have better moves.
Yeah.
For a Pokemon that really got screwed in the moves department, I guess it's a slight upgrade to a bad move, but it's still not great.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think it needed to be in like the 4.5, 4.3 at the very minimum to start being viable and put a lot of pressure onto other Pokemon.
My recommended Kangaskhan appreciates the buff.
Exactly. Kangaskhan is
that is especially with Power Punch boosting those buffs.
And then I switch it out and the buffs are gone.
No, absolutely. Oh man, that's and Sandtomb, which I actually I think it's what is it? Is it 35-20 or 20 game?
Yeah, 20.
It's 25 power, 40 energy, and
40. Okay.
Drops defense 100%
by one stage. Yeah. So what do you think of that? So Fortress, Torterra. I'm pretty excited about Torterra.
Torterra's good for sure.
Garchomp and Gliscor.
The only problem is for Torterra, it'll take you a while to get to that 40 energy because of Razor Leaf. I feel like these moves work better with faster generating fast moves because you can actually get to more of them. And I feel like if you're going to commit to a Sandtomb on a Torterra, you're not going to then get to a Frenzy Plant again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's like more so like in the closed situation when it's like your Torterra versus whatever Pokemon that's not weak to Razor Leaf, for example, and then just be able to get that debuff or now play mind games. Are you gonna shield or not shield when it comes to it?
Is it one turn faster than Frenzy Plant, or is it
1 turn?
1 turn.
Yeah, I think each Razor Leaf generates. Is it actually? Let me see here. I forget. It's 4. 2. I mean, it might actually be. Each Razor Leaf generates 4. So yeah, it would be 1 turn sooner. Right. So you get to 44. No, two turns. Actually, 2 turns.
Yeah, 2 turns.
2 turns. Yeah. 1 or 2.
Yeah, 2 turns. 10 Razor Leafs versus 12.
Yeah.
All right. So.
I think the big winners are Fortress and Garchomp for this one for sure.
Yeah, Garchomp. That's scary on Garchomp.
Oh yeah, give him finally get a move that's not a nuke.
He has Mud Shot, so that's going to be really spammy.
Oh
yeah.
Nice.
So also, I'm reading on Twitter. Choose Master just mentioned another Pokemon that'll benefit from having a nuke in return is Dusclops.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It only had the baits before, so in a meta where Shadow Punch in return could have to play.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like against dark types, you have a chance to absolutely nuke them. Dusclops, all right, okay, that's a really good one.
Yeah, I'm going a lot.
Yeah,
Dusclops and Mark, new meta.
But on Fortress, because man, we can talk about Fortress later. But because Fortress gets so many moves.
It's crazy.
It's certainly interesting. And then Earthquake gets more damage in gyms and raids. I think they just wanted to buff Earthquake.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I read that and I thought they meant in PvP, and I got so excited. But it's already good in PvP. So.
Yeah, it's already
They're
very
giving
good.
more damage in PvP. That's insane.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, it's just gyms and raids.
I did make a video saying Groudon needed a buff, so
Yep.
There you go.
there you go.
He got 2 buffs. He got a PvE and a PvP buff. So
Yeah.
good for Garchomp.
The next one, 3 moves: Overheat, Draco Meteor, and Psycho Boost.
Huge.
All less energy now, but
More damage.
but more DP probably for all of them.
Yep.
But now they have 2-stage debuff. Is that right? Yeah, 2-stage debuff in attack. So let's go over each one of them. Overheat.
Yeah.
What do you
Overheat's
think?
too good now. It's just too good.
What's overheat? What's overheat now? Is it 55 130?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's the same damage as Earthquake for 10 less energy, and it's Blast Burn was already OP, and it's 20 more damage for 5 more energy than Blast Burn. It's too good. I think they thought that the debuff would be more significant, where you can really play around this pretty well and just have a ridiculous nuke. There's nothing in the meta that's going to take 130 energy and enjoy it. You know, it's going to nuke everything, and it's going to make Pokemon like Torkoal and Ninetales a lot better.
Yeah. So let's talk about the winners of them. So Torkoal, you listed as one of them.
Yep. Torkoal. Camerupt.
Let's see what else gets Overheat.
I think Wing Attack Charizard.
I was
because you couldn't have Wing Attack Charizard with Blast Burn, but you can now with Overheat, and it's going to be similar.
It's scary. Like, oh man, you do not want. That's scary. Be able to generate energy faster, get off more Dragon Claws, and then as well threaten with Overheat is very scary. You're gonna definitely have to pay attention to the charge move.
A Wing Attack Charizard has much better matchups against the Dragons, and with Overheat now, it'll still be able to beat all the grasses, and it'll still have play against Lapras. The reason why you didn't want to use Legacy before was because you really needed Blast Burn to do damage to Lapras and Celio, and Flamethrower just wasn't doing it. But now with Overheat, you can still do that. You can still nuke a Lapras with no shield. You can still nuke a Celio, and then you can get to those Dragon Claws a lot faster for the Dragonairs and the Kingdras. Yeah,
for sure. I just think about like all the times you land like a Blast Burn on like a Pokemon that resists, and you're like, "Whoa, that still does a lot of damage."
It still does a lot of damage. Yeah.
Now you're talking about even more. Oh man. I think another one that people are bringing up in the chat is Mercargo.
Oh yeah, Mercargo had terrible moves before in Heat Wave and Overheat, and now you're giving him this. Oh, welcome to the meta, Snail Boy.
Stone Edge and Overheat, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Ninetales. Wow. So what do you think the premier fire type is in Timeless? Let's go.
I really like
Torkoal.
So bulky. It's so bulky. There are no bulky fire Pokemon. They're all pretty classy. Torkoal's bulky, and it has Fire Spin, which is what you want for a fast. It was begging for a faster charge move. I think before this, the fastest charge move I had was Earthquake, which was 65 energy, and it just couldn't get to 2 of those. And now with Overheat, it's got the bulk, it's got the Fire Spin, and now it can reliably get to 2 Overheats in most matchups. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think you can also argue for Ninetales as well with the
for sure. Yep.
Psyshock Overheat with already having the bait, which was what Torkoal was missing, and having the Overheat as the other option. I think could also put Ninetales in a position, but I do see Fire like making its way to being a solid role in Timeless, whereas before it was kind of a choice between Fire, Venomoth, or Poison.
I think between Overheat and the CMP thing, I think Fire Pokemon did pretty well today.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
I do think that Ninetales is a little bit better than Torkoal as of right now, just because of the ability to hit with a neutral move like Side Shock faster than
good for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then having like, it's also a really good combination since it's like 55 plus 40. So if you farm something down to 100, you have the opportunity to bait and then nuke, and make them think about that. And I think that's definitely an important consideration.
Yeah, you need 2 more fire spins to get to the second overheat.
Yeah. I did make a video on fire types too. This is not the way that they were going to do it, but we'll take it.
There is that caveat though, that huge drawback of the drop after you throw out the overheat. So that's already in place. There's no waiting on that. It's in game right now. So if you do lean on to an overheat user like Torkoal for timeless, make sure that you're making a strategy around it. Try it out, because if you throw it immediately and you lose that attack and they shield it, then you're really sitting in a bad spot, because the buff, when you switch, will still be on there. So
it's definitely a huge gamble.
It's a huge gamble.
I think the 2 things that you're going to want, the 2 shots you're going to build around that are overcharging and clever switching. Once that mechanism is in place, I think like Torkoal is bulky enough; it can take most charge moves, even neutral and super. It can take a cert, for example. So you can build up to 70, 80, 90 energy before feigning, and then you'll get a lot more damage done before the debuff, and then you can just do back-to-back nukes. And I think that'll be a strategy people play with a lot. So
it also makes the whole idea of charging up to a bait and then making them think if you're going to do one or the other much more nerve-wracking, because overheat is going to be such a hard nuke, even if it's on something neutral or resisted, that you still have to consider shielding an overheat, whereas a lot of other moves you may not, which will be the same case for Draco Meteor and Psycho Boost. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what do you think in terms of like Open Great League or Ultra or Masters? What kind of play these fire types will have? Mew, for example, gets overheat.
Right.
And Shadowclaw.
Shadowclaw, and oh man, could be devastating.
I think Moltres could be really good with overheat and Sky Attack.
Yeah.
In Ultra and Masters.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's just fire needs to have a place in the meta, and the problem is that it never really has, with fire moves. So there would need to be a shift to allow that to happen. Registeel is coming up in prominence and great in Ultra, and maybe that is enough to push fire up into a spot where it can be throwing out overheats and saying, I can counter Registeel, so pick me. But we'll still have to see that pan out.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Or even Chandelure Masters might be a little bit more interesting now. Now you're talking about 2 different types of nukes, with Shadow Ball and Overheat. Mm-hmm. Could be pretty interesting.
Crazy.
PP Poke, he gave us a glimpse at the updated Great League meta, and
I saw that.
Overheat is the 41st Pokemon in Great League right now.
Did he tweet it out?
Yeah, he tweeted out the top for Great League. Yeah. And as I suspected, it's not changed. Like the top 10 hasn't really changed.
Swampert's dropped a bit.
But Deoxys dropped because it's not using Psycho Boost currently. So
but that's what I said. Yeah, I feel like you're gonna probably you're gonna find some teams that use Rockslide Thunderbolt because of the nerf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think the biggest changes are?
In my opinion, the biggest change is that you see at number 12, you have Machamp, which now has an accessible cross chop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the number 12 Pokemon in all of Great League, the number 2 fighter behind Medicham.
Yeah.
And it used to be a legacy, and it's not anymore. Counter, cross chop, rock slide, it looks really good.
And then you can also argue that if you have Medichams with Power Punch, it won't be able to switch when the new switch mechanic comes out. It won't be able to ramp.
I don't
like the old Medichams can. So
Number 20 is what's interesting. Hitmontop.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which counter
combat is so good.
Like pretty interesting. So we're gonna have a new landscape of fighters.
And number 22, you see Swampert.
Oh man, that's
he dropped quite a bit. Surprisingly,
I think the actual in-game difference will be less than that. I feel like in a lot of situations, the extra damage was a little overkill. I feel like once you get into more nuanced matches, it'll be less of a significant drop. I think it'll still be similar in most of its situations, but it's definitely a drop for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna make the argument that it suffers because it loses DD now, but DD has the Psycho Boost problem, so it kind of offset entirely on that, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And,
I'm curious what else it'll lose significantly. Looking at these, most of its wins, I think it'll still keep. King mentioned earlier the Skarmory will be a big one.
I think that's a really important one in open meta.
Yep.
Yeah, because before it was if you did 2 Hydro Cannons, it would knock out Skarmory like exactly, and now you might run the risk of taking an additional Sky attack. So, gotta check that out when PvPoke allows us to.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's hopefully soon, but definitely a few changes here, and even and I don't only necessarily think that has all the movesets nailed down to the exact ones.
I like the recommended moveset on Mew, which is Shadow Claw, Overheat, and Grass Knot.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Could have. I think there's so many variations on Mew that make it like pretty tricky.
Yeah.
You could have Dragon Claw instead of Grass Knot. You could have Psyshock.
I like Rock Slide on mine. I think Rock Slide's pretty nice.
Rock Slide. You can also run Ancient Power if you're looking for get the boost, right? Man, boost and overheat.
I think
Boost overheat.
Oh my goodness.
Oh god.
That's too much. Yeah. That's crazy.
And then when you get nerfed, you just go back down to regular damage.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
We still have the defense, so.
Oh.
Yeah, and then a lot of these Pokemon that had return are now like lower on, like Sableye, slightly lower. I don't even see Banette anywhere on the list. So lots of changes that make it pretty interesting.
I remember Sableye was like preferring return for the bait potential, and now it doesn't have return anymore. As is recommended. Interesting.
Yeah, and okay, and then Draco Meteor.
Yeah.
So not too many Pokemon know Draco Meteor.
Yeah, let's see.
It's not going to have that many Great League implications. I don't think.
Yeah, I guess the biggest one maybe Dragonite.
Yep.
Yeah.
If it's kind of glassy, so it might not even get there.
Yeah, and Dragon
especially now with the change, which we'll get to, the Breath and Claw, where you might just be going for those anyway.
Exactly.
Because you're so squishy, but
it'll probably have a big implication in Master League, though, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Dialga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So only a couple Pokemon know it. Oh no! I guess you can't get it on. I guess you can't get a Breath, Claw, and Draco Meteor. Never mind. Because
you can't.
Oh.
Because if you already have a Dragonite under 1500, then you can just give it a second move and then TM it to Dragon Claw.
Yeah. You have to do it now. You have to add that on your list of Pokemon for update Community Day. Right. That's a good one, right? I completely forgot it was a Community Day move.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing I didn't evolve my Dragonair on stream. Wow, that would have been a disaster. Oh man, that would have been terrible. So definitely now when you're IV checking Dragonairs, you're not only checking it for Dragonair, you gotta check it for Dragonite. It has to be pretty low level too.
Yeah.
Right.
But in Masters, Dialga's huge. A lot of damage for weight. How much energy is it now?
Was it 65?
60. It's not a crazy change, but
it looks similar to Earthquake, I think.
Oof. Dang.
And Earthquake's very good, but
65.
No.
Is it 130 like Earthquake, or is it?
It's 150.
150.
Yeah. Huge.
So that's
wow.
Who wants to get Draco Meteor? Like I love running Draco Meteor on Dialga before, because it just like nukes so many things. Like
the thing is, okay, how much of that damage though is overkill? Like 130 would have also nuked most of the meta. I feel like at that you have to start thinking about whether that's too much damage.
For sure, but like there are certainly counters to in Masters to Dragon Moves.
Right.
So you might want to play that.
Right. That'll show
especially
up a lot more
especially steel types. Steel types are the big ones. Like if you run into Metagross or you run into a Melmetal, now you don't have to.
Melmetal for sure.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
And if you didn't want to run, because like I guess the recommended moveset in Masters is Iron Head Thunder, but now with now just because I guess better coverage.
Right.
When you're running Iron Head Thunder, because like when you run Iron Head Draco Meteor, I guess you could run Thunder. You need Iron Head for fairies, for Togekiss.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So I guess you could hit with Thunder too, but it allows you to. It's at least an interesting move.
I think you want Iron Head and Draco Meteor probably.
Yeah.
No,
I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
that's the right move now. All right.
Psycho Boost.
The next one, only one Pokemon, Psycho Boost. So what do you think? Defense Deoxys, I would say was like arguably like top 3 in like open Great League. Really flexible, counter.
Top 4 probably. Yeah,
really bulky. You could run Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost was already a pretty efficient move beforehand. I think it was like 40-70 or something like that.
Right.
And now it's what, 35-70?
Yeah.
35-70, yeah. So it hits harder.
I think that the lower energy cost hurts it more because you're faster to the debuff, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like with the other moves, it's more damage. You'll get more for your money before the debuff. With a bait move, you're getting to the debuff so quickly. It's harder to play it that way, you know?
Right.
For sure. Definitely overcharging is gonna be a play. Yeah. And then the consideration of running Rock Slide Thunderbolt is now into play and something to definitely to look at. But yeah, you're gonna want to overcharge because you don't want because the thing is like Defense Deoxys is mostly defense in terms of its bulkiness, has pretty low stamina, so to get 2 stages in the debuff is gonna make it just Deoxys, right? No longer Defense Deoxys, right? Like you're just gonna see a name change after you do the. Actually, no, I guess it's only the attack debuff.
Yeah, it's attack, so really only defense.
Yeah.
I think it really hurts Defense Deoxys because its main role, especially in Great League Freestyle, was to be a good lead that can be a nuanced matchup or a safe switch in for a nuanced matchup where you can have the shield potential, Psycho Boost potential, and win many matchups just based on shielding and usage. But that option is now gone. So you're definitely going to have to rework how you play Defense Deoxys or even choose not to use it. It's still good. It's still really good.
The thing is, though, Counter, Rock Slide, and Thunderbolt are all really good moves. Though.
Yeah,
you know?
No, absolutely.
It'll still have play. They have some redundant coverage, but even if you decide Psycho Boost is just not worth it anymore, it still has a good move pool. It's just slightly less flexible, you know?
Yeah, and it's going to be harder to read, right? Most of the time you read it, you're like, okay, Rock Slide. Okay, now I have a positive matchup with Azumarill.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a little bit better matchup with Skarmory. Oh, it has Thunderbolt? Okay, now my Altaria has an even better matchup against DD, right?
That's a good point.
Right? Now it's going to be way harder to read, right? Like when you see the Rock Slide or you see the Thunderbolt, you're going to have to think of like...
You can't just assume it has Psycho Boost anymore.
Yeah. So it's still good. And when the debuffing clears, like when that switching happens, you'll see a little bit higher stock. And with this debuffing, when the debuffing clears, I think then there's going to be a little bit more strategic value, a little bit bigger of a... those that are skillful and understand how to use it properly are definitely going to see the most benefit.
Yep, I agree.
But for now, it's just way too little damage for how much of a debuff you're getting,
and way too quick to get to.
Mm-hmm.
While I think the debuff is not going to be a big problem for Overheat or Draco Meteor, I think it's going to be a much bigger problem for Psycho Boost.
The next one, Close Combat. This deck now charges quicker in trainer battles but decreases your Pokemon's own defense after use. And I actually really like this because I didn't play a lot of main series games, but I was playing Pokemon Masters for a little bit, and whenever you used, I remember Valorash was like, no, don't use close combat right away because it debuffs your defense. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. And then now I see this when I watch Sword and Shield Wi-Fi battles and all this stuff, right? So I really like the alignment with the lure. But close combat, 45 energy, 100 damage. What do you think are the? There's quite a few Pokemon that learn close combat. What do you think are the biggest winners?
Can we just mention how good fighting Pokemon have gotten today? Between Frost Shop and the close combat, it's a great day for fighting Pokemon.
Yeah,
not a great day for Metacham, but for everything else.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to the new moves yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Right. We're gonna get another one in a few minutes, but yeah, fighting Pokemon had a really good day.
So like some of them that do get close combat that relate to Great League are Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, Primeape, Hariyama, even Granbull.
Granbull loves close combat.
Hitmonlee doesn't have
Gallade is fantastic.
Now,
Gallade.
Heracross, huge buff.
True.
Yeah, Heracross appreciates it.
Yeah, Lucario doesn't necessarily need it because it has another move which we'll talk about a little bit later. Ursaring, Gallade, Pinsir, which I think might have some play in Timeless. At least it'll be now it's a useful Pokemon in Timeless. It's still gonna be a little spicy because it's very glassy, but it's gonna hit super hard.
Yeah.
And Infernape, I don't know if
Infernape, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Blast burn and close combat, man.
Someone mentioned it was 4 fire spins to a close combat. I mean, I still don't think it's good, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Those are the relevant ones, and those are the relevant ones that are of note. Any of them that you like that you think are gonna fighting is banned in Timeless, so Primeape, is that the only one?
I think the big winner has to be
Primeape, not Primeape, Pinsir. Yeah. Glade's the biggest one. Tell me about Gallade.
Oh.
It's now 4 confusions to a close combat, which is ridiculous. It already had a good moveset. It already had the confusion Leaf Blade, which was killer. And confusion close combat was supposed to be a long shot nuke, that was really risky. Now you're just spamming them like nobody's business. It's 15 less energy, which is 2 confusions, right? It's a huge difference.
Yeah, huge difference.
Huge difference, especially with a relatively slow move like confusion. It's the fact that you can do 4 confusions and then your opponent won't know if you're going to do a Leaf Blade or a close combat. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, realistically, you can do like 7 confusions and then dare your opponent to guess. Are you going to do a Leaf Blade or are you going to do a close combat?
Well, I'm curious, does this flip the Steelix matchup? Because it was very close before. It was very energy dependent before. Because you had
it almost definitely is. It almost definitely does, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it'll just outright win now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see when the Sims run, but I'd be very surprised if it doesn't win.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah. I think the big thing about Gallade is that it's already really squishy, but when you're able to switch out after throwing close combat, you lose that debuff, and you have
exactly
the biggest to gain from the huge nuke from the attack weight, and then you can just clear immediately, and then save the farm down afterwards, and it seems so good. I just want to see it happen. I know one person who's really excited for that, and that would be Shmusif. I remember him running Gallade all the way through the championships, and I'm sure that makes
an amazing move pool, right? Confusion, Leaf Blade, close combat.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's man, and stab on 2 of them. Oh man, that's.
We were talking in Sinister about how Gallade and Claydol were like the 2 confusion users that could also beat the tanks. Mm-hmm. I think Gallade is definitely the best anti-tank confusion user now in the meta.
Yeah.
Because It already had a good matchup against Bastiodon, Probopass. It could handle Steelix, but I think it'll turn all of those into outright wins now with this new move. So.
How does it do against like Umbreon now?
Oh man, that's we'll find out soon.
Right.
The thing is, like,
I think
the difference with Umbreon is that you're gonna have to hit it with multiple, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
Right.
after the debuff,
one close combat and one Leaf Blade would do it.
Yeah, you probably have to go Leaf Blade then close combat.
Right.
Right. So
Interesting matchup.
It definitely has more play though, because you're not just dead in the water.
Yeah, for sure. And then in Ultra League, we were talking about at least Verzion was like decent in Ultra, and I tweeted this morning saying it can't really get that much better of a fast move, so it's kind of screwed in that point. But now like with Leaf Blade, close combat similar to Gallade, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be pretty interesting. It already had the opportunities, a lot of opportunities to bait with Leaf Blade, and then close combat, like against Registeel, for example, in Ultra. So definitely a Pokemon that you want to look out for. Has really good coverage. Too bad it has only fast moves.
Yeah.
What are fast moves?
Quick attack, Zen Headbutt.
Yeah.
Quick attack's not terrible. It's like wing attack.
Yeah.
Wing attack clone, so gonna generate energy pretty decent, but
yeah.
And then
Not bad.
Terrakion also gets it. Might have some play in Masters, and I was talking to Gotem beforehand, saying that Dialga Lugia really great duo core in Masters, but now you have a way to take on both with Terrakion. So.
Right.
Yeah, Terrakion has like some of the best coverage. Rock and fighting is really good offensive coverage because it hits flying and steel, which is like two of the most defensive types in the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So could be interesting. We're definitely gonna see some shakeups, and fighting is have a good day, and it's not even over yet. Now new moves in Pokemon Go.
Okay.
All right, let's
Okazuka.
Octazuka.
Akazuka. Slower charge. They say slower charge, but it's 50.
It's a 50-50 move. I like it.
That's pretty decent.
It gives Kingdra a bait.
And Octillery and Kingdra. I don't know what. I think Octillery actually gets Mud Shot. So I think it also gets Acid Spray, but Kingdra's the one that's relevant for
Timeless.
Timeless.
Yeah.
This is an objective upgrade in every situation, every sense of the word. You almost never got any value out of Hydro Pump. This will give you, first of all, it'll make people think twice about shielding. I was doing practice battles like an hour ago, and I landed probably more unshielded outrages than I ever have before because people thought I was baiting them, which will be a lot of really fun play because before you just always knew shield Kingdra. It only has nukes. Now with the bait involved, you have to decide if you want to shield just to make sure, or if you want to think it's going to be a bait and not shield. I beat like 3 or 4 Meganiums because I thought it was going to be a bait, and I outraged, and it's got a lot more flexible play right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's not an automatic shield, or at least you have to. It puts like mind games in you. Right now, it has mind games with Kingdra, which I think is really important, and the fact that it's less energy.
Right, and you can get to 2 of them more often.
Yeah.
Right. And there's also the play around the debuff. If you drop their attack,
50% chance, right?
Yeah,
that's
chance to drop it, and then if you can farm down and then keep farming with Kingdra from that, get those nukes off. Oh man, it's bad news.
Yeah.
I was playing some situations in the Sims that looked pretty promising. If you double shield the Kingdra and just don't throw a charge move, just double shield, build up 100 energy, and then do double debuff, because it's 50 for 50. You can burn the shields back on the back end, kill an extra Pokemon, and get a debuff. It's got a lot of fun play to it.
Yeah.
And they have to shield because otherwise outrage is still there,
Right.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And if you land the debuff, it really can flip some matches. Like I think in the Zero Shield matchup, it flips at least based off my calculations, it's gonna be very close. But it flips the Dragonair. If your Kingdra is fading
Right.
and you land the debuff on Lapras, then it can flip the Dragonair Lapras matchup in the close. So
Yep.
it's gonna be scary.
Yep.
Any of those close matchups, like and 50% chance, man. If you get two of them, that's like a 75% probability that one of them are gonna land.
Right.
Especially for that amount of damage, like with that high of a chance, you figure it's gonna be like acid spray where it's almost no damage, and the whole point is the debuff. But 50-50, it's not bad,
Yeah.
It can
Is that our
still do a
first
lot of damage.
50% move?
What?
Is that our first effect for 50% chance?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
There were a couple
So
of hundred.
I do want to say that's one thing I don't like is I like it so when it's 10% and I like it when it's 100%. I don't like things that are too close in the middle.
There was Leaf Tornado, I think, was 50% as well.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
It was so bad that it was
why-
going to affect anything.
Got him. That's why you never ran Leaf Tornado, right?
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't like those 50%.
Don't like those 50%. The thing is like it's when you get the boost, it's like, oh my gosh, it feels so good. 2 stages to everything. But it's not super impactful all the time. Or the 100% chance where it's like, oh, you know it's going to ramp.
You build it into
The 50%, it's a coin toss. It feels bad. You play to make it work, and it doesn't work. It's not a game mechanic that I enjoy. Is flipping coins, which they addressed in this update, so that's good. But they introduced a 1, and I don't like setting that premise at all.
Yeah.
But my opinion.
Also serves as a bait, so it's a pretty big upgrade for Kingdra.
For
Definitely makes it.
it's an absolute upgrade.
It was already really good. It was already great in Timeless. Now it's moved up in its ranking in the meta.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be a cornerstone of Timeless for sure.
Way less predictable.
Yep.
The next one, Mirror Shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quick charge move. I think it's was it 35
35, 35?
35 35.
35, 30. They screwed it up. They should have been 35%. Come on. Triggered.
Yeah, just and 30% chance, right, of reducing your opponent's attack by one stage.
One stage.
It can be learned by Fortress, Magnezone, Ferrothorn, and Clang.
Yeah, so this is a steel move, right?
Yeah, steel move. So what do you think? Which one? What do you think are these 4 Pokemon are the winners with getting Mirror Shot?
I mean, you could argue that Fortress didn't care because it had Heavy Slam.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Magnezone.
Maybe.
According to PvPoke, the recommended move set on Fortress now is going to be Mirror Shot Earthquake. So in that capacity, I guess it has some play. You're right though that Fortress already had a good move pool, so it's not that big of an advantage. But I think with just with the type of Pokemon the Fortress is, I think it'll work pretty well.
I think it's just because it's so low energy that that's why is you can throw it as a bait, and then you can also drop attack with the bait.
The thing is, it can make Earthquake better because of the bait play. Like you couldn't get to a Heavy Slam and an Earthquake as quickly, whereas now if you land the bait, you'll get to the Earthquake faster.
Right.
So I think not only will it do its own thing, it'll make Earthquake better.
Yeah, it's a pretty big difference in energy. 50 to 35.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's huge for Magnezone though, for sure.
Yeah.
Same thing with Klinklang, because Klinklang only had Flash Cannon, Zap Cannon, and Hyper Beam before.
Yeah,
So
great.
now it's
Terrible.
like a bait move.
Awful moves.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting on Magnezone and Klinklang, which of the charge moves is going to go with Flash Cannon or Mirror Shot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything for Ferrothorn though. I mean, it had Acid Spray Power Whip, and you can. I mean, Acid Spray is already a bait move.
Acid Spray is dead now though.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not
When
yet.
we're able to switch.
Acid Spray.
But like a stab, quicker energy move. Meh. I don't know if it's. We'll see.
I love when there's some uncertainty on what the best moveset is, because then you're gonna see.
I agree.
You're gonna see you might see the same Pokemon on two people's teams, but they might have totally different movesets, and then end up having totally different play.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do
It'll
say that
also
like
make-
Magnezone, Clang Clang,
It'll-
really appreciate a bait move for sure.
No, yeah, I agree.
Makes them so much better.
Yeah.
It'll also make it a lot more interesting to see people's adjustments in games 2 and 3, because like you were mentioning, game 1 will be what moves does it have, when they're spending the move pools a lot, it'll you'll see a moveset in game 1 that you weren't expecting, and it'll be really interesting to see how you adjust to that in the future games.
For sure. And Choose Master brings up an excellent point, and this is definitely a realistic scenario. You can farm to 100 energy on a grass or poison type, for example, and then throw the mirror shot bait and then the earthquake right away.
Yep, exactly.
So definitely, that's not something you could have done beforehand. Because essentially when you shield their heavy slam, especially if the fortress was so low, you're like, okay, if another charge move comes right away, it's just gonna be another heavy slam, so I don't need to worry about it. But now you could no, this could be pretty interesting. Certainly even more mind games with fortress.
Yep.
And then a bug move. Actually, I just found out on stream. Fell Stinger.
Yeah.
It's a quick charge move. What is it? 3520.
Yep.
Yep.
Pup clone. Increases your attack after use. Can be learned by Beedrill, Quillfish, which I know is some of you guys' favorites, Vespa Queen, and Drapion.
Yep.
So let's talk about Drapion first, because it's probably has the most play in terms of timeless. Mm-hmm. Are there relevant strats? Are we gonna see like when Mawile got
right.
Pup?
Exactly. Right. Yep. Gotts was telling me that when they were talking about Drapion last night, he's like, man, Drapion sounds so much better now because had so many close matchups in timeless, but now with Pup Ice Fang, you run into the Mawile style of play, but you win the matchups better or the close ones. So
the question is, do you need Ice Fang, or could you go with something like Bite, for example, and not be as bad against Lapras and Celio?
The real question is, what's your second charge move? Because if you're gonna run Ice Fang, you need Crunch. You just need it.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, you've got no play against Lapras and Celio. If you're running, I think the relevant moves are going to be either Bite, and Aqua Tail, or Ice Fang and Crunch.
Yeah.
Is what I think is going to happen. None of us have run the Sims yet, but I think Bite Drapion is going to have a lot more play now.
Yeah, for sure. And then you got stab on the Bite.
Right,
which is going to make it that much more damaging. So we might see some changes. How about for Beedrill?
It's good. It's really good. Beedrill was always like borderline, like wanting to be up there with the big boys in the Great League, and just had just a little bit missing from it. But I feel like this could be a way to push it in.
I love Beedrill, to be honest. Yeah. I think
Sludge Bomb, does the same thing, but
I think Sludge Bomb post boost is going to be really big.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, boost Sludge Bomb.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna do a lot of damage. I'd be curious once the Sims come out to see if it's gonna have any play in timeless.
Also, the thing I noticed, when a Pokemon gets a buff or debuff move, opponents will shield it a lot less. So I'm gonna say you're gonna get a lot more unshielded Sludge Bombs. The bait.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with Kingdra, the same thing with Beedrill, the same thing with Quillfish. Everyone thought you're gonna run Acid Spray, and then you just ran Sludge Wave and just never got it shielded. I think that with the new debuff and boost Pokemon, you're going to get a lot more no shields on the first charge move, and if you just go with the high damage move first, you're gonna win a lot of games that way.
Yeah, and Beedrill's one of those Pokemon that's very attack weighted, so that Sludge Bomb is going to do a lot of damage, especially after the buff.
Right.
What you're gonna want to do is
a lot more CMP.
Whenever that comes into effect. How about Quillfish, Vespa Queen? How do you think those will play out in future cups in open?
Vespiquen is interesting. I mean, it already got like X-Scissor, so it's the X-Scissor replacement, and then you hit the Power Gem. It could have some play. It's very bulky. So.
It's really bulky.
What move would it replace? Would it replace X-Scissor or Power Gem?
X-Scissor or Bug Buzz because it runs Power Gem for coverage. So
yeah.
Against Flyers, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say that it makes a huge impact for Vespiquen, unless you're like going straight for like a Bug Bite kind of Vespiquen. But yeah, that's hard to say.
Same with Quo. I mean, the thing is, I loved Quofish's moveset already. It had a lot of play.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see. King, do you know if Water Gun breaks after a
it will like these that's why it's pretty good for Vespiquen and Quillfish because it's gonna be very likely that they're gonna break.
Okay, that is good to know then.
Right, so and same thing with like a bite on Drapion, and it's gonna definitely see some pretty big benefit, and it might be pretty interesting to run. At least some consideration. Aquatail, really good, but do you need it still when you're going to get boosted water guns?
Right, boosted water guns might have the same coverage.
True.
So something definitely to think about. Aquatail's really nice move, but
there are probably going to be 3 or 4 viable Quillfish movesets now.
Yes, absolutely.
When we get Twilight,
oh man, imagine getting a Fell Stinger and in an Acid Spray.
Oh, no. Right?
With water gun, like you're doing like 10 damage per. Yeah, it's gonna be disgusting.
You invest shields and then just get the water gun to just annihilate the first Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then you have Acid Spray loaded for the next one. And you're just completely ripping through them with water gun.
Yeah.
Oh.
It would be really cool if Felstinger did what it does in the main series, which is it buffs your attack by 3 stages if you knock out the Pokemon with
man.
Ramp.
That would be so cool. But I mean, I really like the Power Punch clone as well for bug types because they did need a buff.
Yeah, they definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
They had definitely lackluster moves and minimal plays, but pretty cool. Next one, Aurora Sphere.
Lucario.
Hey. What do you for Lucario? Not
55 energy, 100 power.
Shadow Ball clone.
I mean, it's very good, but I think it's funny that they gave it that at the same time that they buffed close combat and added superpower and made Crush Up not Legacy. It just is a lot of good fighting Pokemon. I'm not sure if Lucario is going to get much better against the field, just because everything else is so much better already.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on Aura Sphere. There's just so many different moves that Lucario can do already. Close combat buff, Shadow Ball. You could just do Shadow Ball close combat, and you're super happy. If you want to throw an Aura Sphere in there or Power Up Punch Plate, and it gets to be awkward.
Yeah, Aura Sphere is gonna be. It's actually probably more of a play in raids.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because now it makes it actually the highest DPS. It's actually the best charge move available in the entire game.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Pretty. It's very quick too, so definitely gonna have some play there, sure. But maybe not as much play in PvP.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Super good in PvE now though. So good.
What is?
Sorry, what?
Really good in raids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So pretty cool move. Next one is a superpower. Powerful fighting type move that charges quickly but reduces users' attack and defense after being used. Can be learned by Pinsir, Snorlax, Hariyama, Rhyperior, and Melmetal.
Melmetal.
Really good with that.
So happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you? So you think Melmetal is the biggest winner with superpower?
Yep.
Yes. I think Pinsir is running in the same issue with Lucario in that it's getting close combat.
Any Pokemon that has close combat is not going to necessarily need superpower or sphere, but I definitely think that Melmetal is going to be a huge upgrade.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think also another one that especially since it's getting its legacy moveset back is Snorlax.
Yep.
right? Because now you're gonna have to think about, especially when is it potentially better? It might be situationally better than Munchlax.
Maybe, yeah. I do love Munchlax, but
a little less bulky. So certainly something to take consideration. But now that's superpower going to be way less energy than Bulldoze, for example, as a coverage move.
Right.
Then so something to consider.
Yeah,
especially against steel types.
I'm assuming, I always loved the Munchlax matchup against Probopass because it beat Probopass and Bastiodon in most shield situations, which people didn't realize. And I think Snorlax probably be even better. So you probably don't need to beat it all to beat a Bastiodon. Just straight superpower. Probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get shielded with the superpower and you get debuffed.
Yeah, no, certainly you're gonna have to play the bait game there, and getting shielded is gonna be really devastating to it because it's gonna really nerf it.
Getting it shielded is gonna be a big problem.
Only one stage, right?
It's only one stage for both, yeah.
But it's both.
For both,
right.
Yeah.
And it's pretty quick, I suppose. I mean, it's 40 energy, so it's pretty cheap to fire it out there. So
I think it's actually the recommended moveset for Hariyama.
Really?
Which is interesting.
Over
so being cheap isn't a good thing for the debuff moves because it's fast debuffs, you know?
Yeah,
right.
No, absolutely.
It's definitely bad now, but when the switching comes in, then it becomes more nuanced. Which also kind of throws off probably the rankings too. I feel really bad for Matt over there at PV Poke because we got all these huge moves and they got huge drawbacks, and there's situations where it makes the Pokemon look awful, and there's situations where it makes it look just amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think like with these debuffs, especially when the Switch comes out, like the rankings maybe not going to have as much predictive power on the usefulness of the Pokemon because it's going to really depend on how you want to play it.
We're gonna see. I think we're gonna see a lot more high level play with these moves, which I think is good. You know, I think we're gonna see nuanced strats that kind of take advantage of the different debuffing and the different boosting that we haven't seen before. I think we're going to get a lot more, unique. I think the mirrors also are going to look differently, just based on how people play them. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Superpower, man, could be pretty good, especially on Malmetal. It's pretty scary. What's the ratio on superpower?
Was it 85-40?
85-40.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% chance to drop you one stage on both.
All right. So those are new moves. Some pretty interesting ones.
With Thundershock, that's going to pump up the shield pressure really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some cases, like, now this is what makes it interesting with superpower is now the bait move is not necessarily the cheaper energy move.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you kind of like, if you want them to shield one of them, you want to have them shield Rock Slide, for example. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. Pokemon that can learn more attacks. So I'm not sure why they put Cloyster with Icy Wind up here. I thought Icy Wind was a legacy move.
It is.
Okay, but for some reason they called it out separately.
Right.
I think they probably just lost track.
All right.
But it doesn't matter. So Icy Wind on Cloyster, Ice Fang for Alligator.
Right.
Could be interesting the thing is it had a really hard time competing without Water Gun and without Mudshot. Had a really hard time competing with Blastoise and Swampert in Ultra. So it at least allows it to be a little bit different.
The thing is, though, isn't Ice Fang's worse than Waterfall, right? I mean, I know it's got different coverage, but it is
different coverage. I think that's the thing. Like against dragons, against dragons is the really really big difference, and something that like even having that move, you're gonna have to think about: do I want to come into this
That's
matchup?
True. Yeah, team comps are gonna be different because you're gonna have to wonder going into the fight what it had.
Which move it has?
Yeah.
A pretty big one for. At least pretty interesting one. Lock on Porygon 2 and Porygon Z or Z, depending on where you're from. Lock on, obviously the fastest energy generation move in the game, and it has some like pretty strong charge moves. Like now it has what does it have? They have Solar Beam, Zap Cannon, Hyper Beam. If you want to go a little cheaper, you can go Return if you want.
Right.
It's good it's really good in Masters, right?
Yeah, it should be good. Should be good in Masters. With that kind of coverage.
I was running Sims earlier. It's got in Great League anyway. It has the biggest discrepancy I've ever seen between shield conditions because it's got no damage from the fast move and such high energy charge moves.
Yeah.
Against the general Great League meta, Porygon 2 Porygon 2 had a 75% win rate in the 2 shield. Or sorry, in the no shield. And a 5% win rate in the 2 shield. It's dramatic.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't get to the third move fast enough before fast moves get it down. Porygon Z had a 2% win rate in the 2 shield.
Yeah. I think
because it's very, you got to be very careful how you play it and what the shield condition is. It's useless with shield up.
Yeah.
Holden McGroin saying looks like queued switching is back.
Really?
Great.
One
thing I was sad about though was that Porygon itself does not get lock on. That was one thing I was looking forward to because return currently you can have return Porygon, but anything else and it goes too big. And if with lock on you can bait the return and then go for nukes.
This is the classic example of why they changed return though.
Exactly.
Right? Like imagine they didn't change return. Like it would be ridiculous. Like it would probably be probably run the same.
It was upper 90% win rate because I was running the Sims on. I'm like, oh my gosh, if this tanky little guy could get return, hyper beam, lock on, it would be over. But of course they changed.
So Matt from PV Poke is saying PV Poke is now updated.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So you wanna take a look before we head back to the rest of the moves?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we're all pretty excited. Let's go to Timeless first.
Okay. Kingdra, look at that.
Number
shooting.
3.
Of course, Drapion shooting way up.
Oh, man.
Oh, but look, it's Bite Drapion.
Bite Drapion.
Bite Drapion.
Beats Lapras.
Also has a play for Ice Fang, which is interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What is
and Torkoal is number 11.
Yeah, Torkoal shot way up. Oh my gosh.
Way up. That's I call it. Yeah, it's so good with that new overheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Torkoal number 11.
Swampert dropped down?
Yeah,
It makes sense, right?
always
It
bad
doesn't have as much pressure now, right?
Mm-hmm. Shift tree went up, Snarl, but still kind of iffy on the shift tree because it loses to Dragonair, Lapras, Celio still. So it's based on situation.
And now you've got Dugong is up too.
Yep.
Is Dugong as broken as they're saying?
I don't know why they're suggesting
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Probably should be Water Pulse, right?
You'd want Water Pulse for the
For the fires.
coverage. Yeah.
Yeah. Water Pulse picks you up 17 more wins. Matt, can we have it rerun with Water Pulse? I know. I legitimately think it actually will move it up quite a bit.
No, yeah, I think it will too.
139 wins. Like what's Dragonair's comparison, for example? Okay, Dragonair's. Okay.
Pinsir's on there, but with superpower close combat as the recommended. No bug charge move. That's interesting.
I'm seeing. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm seeing X's or close combat.
When you
If
click
you
on
click on it, it shows a usage percentage too. So for whatever reason, it shows like the forced moveset and then what PV Poke recommends as the moveset after running it through the Sims. So that's why I always click on it and have a quick look. Is because it shows you the usage rather than what was input to generate the ranking as it is.
So Matt is going to update it with Water Pulse.
Okay.
Yeah, Torkoal, man, way up there.
I'm telling you, Torkoal, all it needed was a faster charge move.
Right. I'm feeling Torkoal. My 6 regional team, I loved Torkoal, but I couldn't use it because it just was getting caught in bad situations in training with
I
Bastion.
immediately thought Torkoal for sure.
But yeah, great.
Yeah.
Ninetales also went up. It's 27, not as high as Torkoal, but it's I think the 4th or 5th best fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, Kingdra went up as we kind of expected. Drapion went up as we kind of expected.
Snowy Cast Form went up.
Yeah, I'm curious on.
That, maybe because Kingdra went up.
Yeah.
And maybe it has like a decent matchup for Drapion, and that gives it some edge.
Yeah, which it does. So, yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I want to wait for this. That's interesting.
You'll notice. I think Gloom is down.
Yeah.
Because of return.
Actually, it's not down that far. Actually,
It's not super bad, but that's because I mean you don't really get to a charge move, and the most of the times when you want a charge move, it's Sludge Bomb anyway.
Yeah, but there are
98% chance.
The thing is, like, Gloom was, besides Ivysaur, I think, is the tankiest Razor Leafer.
Yes.
So probably some of its.
Yeah, I was actually considering using Gloom because it's not like Victory Bell where you just delete the Whiscash and then you get reverse deleted right back, and then they have a charge move for whatever you bring in next. Whereas Gloom kind of evens it out a little bit better, so you're not getting reverse farmed.
The big difference, and this is a big difference because of how many times I've seen this matchup, you need a 3rd Body Slam in most situations to beat a Gloom, whereas 2 beats a Victory Bell. So I would have Victory Bell switch into my Celio and have to shield because I'd get to the 3rd Body Slam, whereas with Gloom, they can just take them off. And it actually flipped a lot of matches. If you can force the Razor Leafer to shield, Gloom didn't have to shield.
Okay, here's an interesting one. With return on Dragonair, you win the 0 shield matchup against Lapras. And you don't do that with Dragon Pulse.
Huh. Wow.
It's right at a Surf though, so take that in consideration. Like if you're like 1 Ice Shard too late.
Right.
But yeah, at least something to.
Return is still recommended over Wrap, which is interesting.
Wrap's awful though, so I guess.
Wrap
with Tail.
Fine before against the old Return, but it's not great. I mean,
cool. We'll have to dive into this some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm just checking.
I think the biggest takeaway is that the meta hasn't shifted that much.
Right.
I mean, there's big changes like Torkoal and Kingdra, but I think overall the meta is 90 to 95% the same.
Sure. I mean, you could argue that Dragonair was fine with Aqua Tail Dragon Pulse, and then you could argue Lapras didn't change, and its counters didn't change, and then also you still need Grass for that Lapras.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Razor Leaf.
We're going to see Lapras popular. Dominate the meta, Dragonair.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Interesting.
One thing I noticed, and I've been noticing this for a while, which is interesting. When Matt releases his sim analysis of the top performing Pokemon, for the last 2 weeks, the top performing Pokemon have been Lapras and Celio, 1 and 2. And Lapras is 7 over here. Celio's always at 31. I'm wondering why it's performing so much better than it's simming.
Well, I think because this ratings are against the entire meta.
So
Celio probably does really well against concentrated meta.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. That's true.
Right. And that's probably the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is probably the case, and we see that in some of the Pokemon, right?
Right.
There are Pokemon's like over because it does so well against everything else but the meta. It might be a little higher, and then or the reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, interesting. Let us know. Okay, all right, yeah. No, some. How about let's take a look at the open meta and see. I know we already got a preview of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All Pokemon. Right. Nothing really changed. Deoxys goes down, and everything else stays pretty much the same.
Registeel and Ontario are still king.
So.
Oh, you know what? While you guys look at that, let me know if there's anything notable. But I'm gonna take a look at that one matchup we were talking about, Skarmory, Swampert. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, Swampert still wins. In the one shield, it wins with 1 HP left.
Oh wow.
So that's very IV dependent.
Yeah,
It is IV dependent.
Still need both. Sure.
Being pretty clean, it could be very IV dependent.
Yeah, so if you have a rank 1 Skarmory against the default one, Skarmory wins 0 in the 1.
Okay.
And then if it's a rank 1 Swampert, yeah. So if you have a very good IV Skarmory, then you can looks like you can win the matchup against Swampert in the 0 and the 1.
Even against the rank 1 Swampert?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's this thing like the Mudshots are not doing very much damage, and the Hydrocans just don't do enough.
Right.
When you have the higher.
The biggest takeaway I've seen looking at these, the number 34 Pokemon in the entire Great League is Heracross now.
Dude, I love Heracross. He's great. Close combat makes him awesome now, I think.
Yeah, it's a really good moveset. Close combat and Megahorn.
Yeah, fighters have.
It's the number 2 bug Pokemon in the meta.
Looking at Master, it changed quite a bit. I'm actually kind of glad that I looked at Master like a day or so ago.
Yeah.
I had kind of deep dived into Master to try and figure it out. Now Mewtwo's kind of pushed up there. Kyogre is way up there now that it has Surf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is really cool. And then some of the things that fell, Swampert dropped to 17, which is a far drop from 4th.
Right.
Man. Just some of these other guys are just.
Yeah, and you know what? And the thing is, these I'm not sure if these rankings probably don't even take into consideration the speed stat, not the CMP tie break.
Yeah.
Right, and that's definitely gonna shift things as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the Open Great League, the craziest thing I've seen is Dugong breaks the top 50.
Yeah, go Dugong.
Really?
Yeah.
Big moves, buddy.
It's rated right under Lapras.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it's probably gonna move up too once it gets rid of Blizzard and has Water Pulse.
Yeah.
Wow.
Garchomp took a nosedive in Master League, though. Wow, down
Really?
to 32.
Oh, King, your man Gliscor is now 47 in Great League.
Oh, nice! That's awesome.
Interesting.
So many different moves that you can use.
Dragonite did have a little bit of a buff with the Breath Claw Meteor combo.
Uh-huh.
So that's cool.
Which is now possible.
You're seeing a lot in the secondary tier of Great League. You're not seeing them very much in the top.
Right.
But
which
you
makes
look at,
sense because the update wasn't for Great League, so.
True.
I don't see any change with Ultra League. Maybe it just hasn't been updated yet or not. But
obviously Swampert is way down. Well, was probably number.
Oh, that's right.
Now it's number 8. Still really good. We see Mew move up because of Overheat.
Overheat Psyshock, yeah, that's great. Heracross went up to 16. Look at you go, Heracross.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Heracross moved up in all 3 leagues a lot.
I know. It's awesome. Feel bad for the people that don't have them yet, but you can trade for them.
Make sure to trade for them, yeah. Find a Heracross.
Gengar actually making some moves now that he's got Shadow Claw consistently.
I think the biggest difference is now it gets Shadow Claw with Psychic.
Yeah.
Because before you could only have a Lick with Psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Although Psychic is still only the 4th recommended move on Gengar.
Yeah, it's still like Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb.
What does it give you coverage on Psychic?
Other poison types?
Fighters?
Fighters, I guess.
I mean, you have Shadow Ball.
But most of them are so
pretty
grassy,
fine.
the Shadow Ball will nuke them anyway.
Yeah.
Poison? Yeah, the poison maybe? Like Alolan Muck?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
Alolan Muck, that would
Maybe not.
Kanto Muck, I guess.
Yeah. But again, I think a Shadow Ball will nuke a Kanto Muck.
Yeah, I think, that's the problem. Is like kind of with Haunter, where it's like you don't really need more diversity.
Shadow Ball's so good, so.
Shadow Ball just hits everything neutrally pretty much. So.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good against like normal types, but then you just Sludge Bomb, I guess. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you get stabbed with Sludge Bomb.
Yeah, Sludge Bomb's a pretty decent move as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe give it Sludge instead of Sludge Bomb. That way you can go for the bait. Make it interesting, I guess, because it's already heavy attack weighted, kind of like Shadow Claw with Haunter. Like, sure, Shadow Claw sucks, but since it's a quick move, you can bait for shields.
Yeah.
Do that with Gengar.
The Asian Milkman's saying, if you go to the Orlando tournament, you can get some Heracross.
Great.
I love it.
Someone's saying Meganium Kingdra pairing is pretty insane now.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, it was already insane before. I would argue for sure
Yeah.
that was a great combo, and I think PV Poke's metadata proved that was a great combo. So
Yep.
Definitely gonna maybe lean into practicing with that core.
So basically, I'm changing my entire team in the next 2 days. So.
Yeah.
Well, Toshi, you already have everything double moved, so you're
Yeah. So,
let's see. Somebody ran Sims earlier. Kingdra will still lose hard to the Razor Leafers, so I
Sure.
think it pairs pretty well with anti-grass. Yeah, looking at this, it still loses pretty hard to Meganium, to Bayleaf, to Blossom. So I think it'll pair pretty well with either like a Venusaur that has anti-grass coverage or just a harder anti-grass.
like Torkoal.
Like Torkoal, there you go. Kingdra Torkoal, new meta.
yeah. And the good thing, I guess, against this may not matter, but yeah, when you go Kingdra versus Victory Bell, at least in the one shield, you don't have to fire off an outrage to KO.
Yeah, you can just
right. So you can go for the debuff later
Yeah.
on. So at least gives you some options and more
Yeah,
flexible.
all of Kingdra's top counters, all of them are still going to be the grass Pokemon. So you'll want to cover it with an anti-grass.
Yeah, Drapion. Actually, I want to take a look at Drapion versus Lapras matchup.
right. That's a good match.
Right?
Yeah, the thing you have to. Oh no, you don't even have to bait.
Really?
You can go 2 Fell Stingers.
Just munch
Wow.
right through them.
Wow, and it's actually wow.
Nice.
Okay.
So you're running Bite, Aqua Tail, Felstinger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's kind of close. I mean,
It's close. It's close. But
yeah,
before
Any
it
of the
was
grass
yeah.
with Bite. King.
Sorry.
Do you lose any of the grass matchups with Bite?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Probably. Let's see.
Meganium,
Probably
maybe?
not. Let's see here. Meganium, maybe. But Meganium.
If it gets the Earthquake, depends.
Yeah, Meganium wins.
Yeah.
But, wins 0 in the 1.
Right.
But
Okay,
wins
that's
the
okay.
0 even with Ice Fang, and then
Well,
ties the 1.
Yeah, the one is the thing.
Yeah.
But still pretty good. I mean, if you can trade a closer Meganium matchup for the Lapras, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the only grass type that beats Drapion in the one shield
With Bite.
with Bite. Yeah.
Yeah, and
The thing is-
Meganium, you can actually just double Earthquake as well.
Yeah. This is exciting because I loved Drapion's matchups except for how hard walled it was by Lapras and Celio. So the fact that it now has play against them is pretty fun.
Okay, it looks like they updated it with
Water Pulse.
Water Pulse. Let's see. We go to. Oh no, is mine not? refreshed yet?
No, I'm still showing the same
Okay.
build. So
Okay, I'm not sure where they.
that's all right. We'll give us more time, but no worries.
Oh! Looks like he says that it went up to 20 with Icy Wind and Water Pulse, but it doesn't show.
No, I see it. It's 29. Oh wait, no.
I mean, it was currently 20.
Yeah,
That's
it's still
fine.
showing. Okay, never mind.
No. Matt's saying it goes up to 20. Oh, in Great League. Oh, in Great League.
Oh,
maybe he
it
hasn't
went
run. Oh, he probably hasn't run it on. No,
Oh.
unless
I see.
we have to enter the website again. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we all have to. Let's see here. It might be caching the results. No,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because before Dugong was 49 overall. If it jumped to 20, wow, it's gonna look sick in Timeless. Disgusting.
Yeah, no, it still shows.
Yes.
That's all right.
49 and then 20.
Oh, okay, I'm sure. Oh, he might be just taking a look at the previews of the results and.
Yeah, it might
Oh,
be
but
updated.
it's now. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, no, okay. Some cool rankings. I'm sure they'll tell us in the chat when the rankings are updated. But Dragons looking even stronger.
Yep.
Drapey.
Did you guys want to go back to the list of the new moves?
Yep. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Seed Bomb on Celebi.
Meh.
That's sick.
That's very necessary.
I think it was totally necessary. It didn't have a bait move.
I think we were all talking about Celebi not having a grass move or a bait move.
Right.
Now it has both.
Definitely needed.
Now it has both, right? So,
Yeah.
I think it's better. Celebi was going to be amazing anyways.
Yeah.
It would be pretty difficult to make it amazing, but having Seed Bomb gives it a stab bait move.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it
It
a
was
lot.
needed, but unfortunately, we need a really precise meta for it to be relevant. So.
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely.
It would have had more play in Rainbow if it had Seed Bomb because there were some matchups that it should have won as a grass Pokemon that didn't win, and I think it would do a little bit better. But yeah, again, still
Could have been like an alternative to Legacy Executor, maybe.
Yep. Exactly. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. That would have been that's a good option. All right. Shiftry with Snarl.
Yes.
Now has access to pretty polarizing moves. Razor Leaf and Snarl, like one obviously
It's
high damage.
really interesting now, I gotta say.
Yeah, and it's going to be a popular pick against Swampert and Giratina in Ultra League. Curious.
But wasn't
Let's see if it says that, but if it really does that.
If it actually beats it, yeah. Let's see here. Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, it does give it the win against Swamp. Well, obviously, it gives it to Swampert. It was
already had
Giratina that we were questioning, and it's close, but it still gets it.
The thing is, it loses to Dragon Breath, altered Giratina,
Right.
but probably beats. Yeah, it handily beats Origin Form, unless it's carrying. Let's see here.
I ran Shifty really early in the Ghost Stadium lobby as my grass alternative, and I liked it. But it's pretty squishy and gets caught in a lot of bad neutral matchups. So Snarl kind of helps it out with that because they can get to that awesome Leaf Blade, the good enough foul play to have some good play.
Now, I think this is the fastest Leaf Blade in the game, right? Or the fastest Leaf Blade in the game.
Right, because it's faster to fire than Confusion.
Well, yeah, but I think
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Let me
fastest
see.
Leaf Blade in the game, which is interesting. Unfortunately, it's so glassy that you probably still only get off 2.
Right.
You know, it's not gonna survive long enough. If it was a bulkier Pokemon like Umbreon, and you get off like 6 or 7 of them, you know, it'd be
disgusting.
I'm sure people would appreciate that.
Yeah, it just shows how good Umbreon is with the Snarl, and you can get off a dozen foul plays or Dark Pulses.
That's
Shiftry
right.
is glassier, so it's not going to be quite as good, but it'll still do damage, you know.
already had a look at it for Timeless, and it struggles against Dragonair, struggles against Lapras, struggles against Celio.
It'll struggle against anything that'll hard, fast damage.
Yeah, and you really need your grass to be able to handle Lapras Celio and Timeless, and not being able to do that, making it super dependent on getting that second Leaf Blade, can put you in really bad situations if it doesn't go off or whatnot.
It could be a secondary grass.
Yeah, definitely.
People are running two grasses, like, people are running a Vine Whipper and a Razor Leafer, or like a Vine Whipper and Myrmidon.
Yep.
It could be a secondary grass, so if you already have Lapras covered, like a flex grass.
Mm-hmm. And then it might not even be grass. It could be Snarl.
Yeah. Right. No. Yeah. You can just show like a Shiftry and a Meganium, and then have different play to which one you want to use and which lines.
Yep.
I think if you have both, you definitely need a Blaziken answer.
There you go.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
Cover fire types.
Right.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. So pretty interesting. And then Kyogre getting Surf, really big for Masters.
Really big.
Huge.
It basically just had nukes before.
Jumped to 7th in Master League.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I was always like, I'm like, it really didn't make any sense because like it has such phenomenal stats. It really should shine in Masters, but it was like getting outclassed by Swampert, which had like way worse stats in it. Right, like you're talking about like almost 70 attack difference, right? Like it really shouldn't happen. But with Surf, it gives it the bait option as well, access to charge move way faster.
What's your second Thunder?
Thunder, I think there's
Pump, Blizzard, right?
Yeah, there's a couple options that you can run with.
Those are I think you probably want Thunder, right?
Right.
You probably want Thunder. I'm trying to think of what you would what do you cover with Thunder though?
Togekiss.
Other water types.
Other water types are probably the big one.
Gyarados.
Yeah. Thunder it hits Lugia faster, right?
Lugia. Okay.
Lugia as well. Yeah.
Dragonite.
Yeah, for sure. Dragonite. For neutral.
How many
damage.
waterfalls is it off of Blizzard though? I guess.
Gyarados.
Gyarados is a big one.
Gyarados, for sure.
Is it 2 waterfalls extra to get to Blizzard?
Yeah.
Over Thunder?
I think so. Because Thunder is what, 60 energy? And Blizzard 75? No, I think it's 3 waterfalls. Isn't it 3 waterfalls?
For
the difference between Blizzard and Thunder.
Oh, okay. Isn't Thunder 60?
Yeah.
And then 75, right? And then it's 8 energy per.
So it's still 2. Yeah, it is 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, 3 seconds. So.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a ton, but like you could also argue Blizzard. Like if you end up want a close game and you want a one shot at Dragonite or do a lot of damage to a Giratina.
Get faster, yeah.
Yeah, and then you still have trouble with Dialga. It's not nothing in the world.
Missed opportunity to not give it Icy Wind. Oh man, Kyogre would have been crazy.
Do you guys remember when Kyogre used to have Dragon Tail?
Yeah, that was like
that was pre-release, but still.
Yeah, I actually don't think it learns the Dragon Tail in the main series game.
No, they gave it to us. It was in the move pool before they released it.
Yeah. I remember being so excited. The ultimate. It really made no sense. It really made no sense. The ultimate Rayquaza counter.
Yeah,
was,
and out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it really didn't make any sense, but it was pretty cool for a moment at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
guess it could have given Kyogre Ice Beam as well. It does learn in the main series.
Yeah, Ice Beam would be nice.
Surf Ice Beam would be amazing.
Kyogre would just be so insane if that were the case. Oh, dragons would be so scared.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have the ultimate Giratina origin form counter, Licky.
What's the rating? Like 989 or something?
Yeah. Wow.
Let's see here. Let's take a look at this matchup in Ultra, because I think it maxes just under.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, Giratina origin form. Let's assume double ghost, which is way most people are running. It's
793.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Stoutland.
But
The thing is, like, it's more like 753, and you don't burn a shield,
Right.
right? Because like, why would you ever shield against it? Right? 'Cause they could double shield you. You still have 62 HP left,
Right.
and like
There's no play there at all. Yeah.
37. Yeah, that's crazy. That's
The thing
pretty
is,
bad.
so it'll make Giratina less of a switch-in option,
Yeah.
with a hard wall like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, of course, you have to run into people that actually use Licky Licky in Stoutland.
Does it pick up the Reggie? No. Okay. No, it doesn't beat Reggie Steel, but it can at least do some damage on it.
Yeah.
Reggie Steel only wins with 3 HP.
I think this is a really good addition because Licky Licky only had nuke moves before,
Yeah.
and this is like the quote-unquote bait move because it's still 55 energy, but it's definitely better than getting to an Earthquake or Hyper Beam.
Right.
For sure.
I don't know. I guess you can still argue that it doesn't have that shield play, so kind of hampers it quite a bit that way.
There's a much bigger chance you'll get to a second one than you would have before,
Oh yeah, which is great.
You probably were never going to get to a second Earthquake. You can probably get to 2 Shadow Balls in certain situations, so that's good.
And yeah, it's great.
For sure. Yeah, you don't get to the second Earthquake in the
Right.
one shield, so it ends up being a pretty bad matchup against Reggie Steel. So at least you have some opportunities to at least make it kind of close.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then speaking on the direct Giratina origin counters, Stoutland got Ice Fang. So
Yeah, Stoutland.
they're like, we really need to get something out there for Giratina origin before it gets too crazy. So Stoutland.
Yeah, the thing is, like, do you want Lick or Ice Fang?
All right.
Like, what doesn't win with?
If you look at the Ultra League rankings that PB Poke just put out,
It still wants Lick.
it says Lick, but it's at like 60-40. So
Yeah,
I guess it just depends on what you're looking for.
I'm looking at the wrong one.
What does Ice Fang cover? Venusaur, I guess.
And
Rats and dragons, really, right?
Yeah.
Dragonite,
Oh.
yeah,
and flying types.
and flying types, yeah. Not crazy amount of flyers in Ultra, actually.
Yeah.
And Flyers also have Wild Judge to worry about, too.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you go Lick or Ice Fang, it can really flip the shift tree because Lick does like no damage, where Ice Fang like melts it. So
Yeah.
But again, it's in a world where Stoutland is used, and at rank 123 in Ultra League, that's hard to come by. At least Licky Licky was like what, top 50, right?
Yeah.
56. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Some people are saying they're talking about the Kingdra and Meganium matchup, and they're talking about like if you get the debuff,
Oh yeah.
there's a chance to win, or at least make it close. And then if you have a perfect, I'm not sure how much this is true, but we'll kind of look it up. You can beat Meganium, and 50% chance, and like you would take that. It's a pretty decent.
I don't know. I have some really fun ways to play the Kingdom Meganium matchup. There's so much nuance that you can do. You can either double shield and save all the energy. You can go for the bait. You can go for the nuke. It's got a lot more play now than it used to have. I was playing Kim earlier, and we did like 20 battles in a row, as we do. And we did a Kingdra Meganium lead every time, and played it in like 20 different ways. And there's a lot of play to that. Kim, are you in the chat?
Sorry, what? What are you looking at?
We're talking about the different ways that you can play the Kingdra Meganium matchup. Either double shielding and not using a charge move at all, or going for the bait, going for the nuke.
Oh, okay. You were asking if Kim was in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were saying me. I was running some Sims, so I wasn't paying attention. But she says hi. Yeah, no, Kingdra, man. There's a lot of play. That's something that you definitely want to master before you get to your tournament.
Yeah. So for all 450 people for LA, definitely need to get that practice in.
How are they doing this again? I mean, they dropped an update a couple days before the New York City Sinister Cup too, and now they're doing this for LA. My team's gonna be totally different by tomorrow. It's gonna be totally different.
Well, maybe Niantic Matt is just secretly on the Sylph.gg and checking things out, and he's like, I'm gonna mix things up, go to LA. They won't know.
My team's gonna have a freaking Torkoal, a Shiftry, and a Kingdra by tomorrow.
This is the only only three that you're gonna run.
Yeah, just those
Every
three
time.
all that.
Well, man, LA is gonna be insane. Like, I think this makes it more fun, right? Because
Yeah.
now we're legitimately going into a fresh meta. It's not fully, but there's certainly some Pokemon that you're gonna have to play.
Like Alex said, it's a lot of the same thing, but it's gonna be some small like tweaks that are gonna be important.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's still gonna be Lapras, Dragonair, and some grass action, but it's the back end that makes it much more interesting. Where Drapion, Kingdra, things like that can make it a good play.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, Kingdra, man. That's definitely the
Kingdra is gonna be so dynamic.
Yep.
The thing is now people are going to need to go in with an answer to it. They're gonna have to come up with it's gonna be more prevalent to the point where you're gonna have to have in your mind a hard Kingdra answer. And I don't know how many of those there are.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're good at rolling, good at coin flipping.
Yeah.
No joke.
Could be very scary. Like, you're definitely gonna be holding your breath as you see that potential debuff come through.
Also, playing the mirror is gonna be hard because the debuff will flip the mirror hard. If you get like the coin flip on the debuff, the Dragon Breath will start doing so much less damage. There was a game where I was 2 Dragon Breaths ahead on a Dragonair, and sorry, I was the Dragon. I was ahead on damage, and the Kingdra got the debuff and fainted me down because Dragon Breaths are doing a lot less damage.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
So that's gonna be interesting.
Someone's like Charm Donphan.
There you go.
Why not?
Charmchew.
Charmchew makes more sense than Charmchew makes more sense than Donphan.
Yeah.
So next up is Tangrowth, Power Whip.
Tangrowth. Tangrowth with Power Whip. Oh, did we skip 2 of them? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Tangrowth with Power Whip. What do you think of that?
I like it.
I like it too. It has a lot of the same coverage as Ancient Power does, but it of course got Stab, and I think it does better against Lapras, right?
Right, for sure. I was thinking about running Tangrowth because of the Ancient Power, but because it didn't have a Grass charge move, it didn't act as a Grass. So I was like, meh, Tangrowth, meh.
Would you run Power Whip and Ancient Power, or Power Whip and Sludge Bomb? Sludge Bomb, right?
I guess it depends. If you bring,
I think you want
Torkoal.
I think you want Ancient Power for fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you hitting Sludge Bomb with?
It flips the grass
matchups, yeah.
And that's grass on grass is very important. I feel like that's why Venusaur is so good because it beats the other grasses. I feel like you almost need Sludge Bomb for those. I feel like you're going to rely on your grass to beat other grasses more than you're going to rely on your grass to beat the fires. And that's the trade-off. I feel like if you run Power Up, Ancient Power, you do better against the fighters, which is you're going to have another answer for that anyway. Or you're going to use it to beat the other grasses, which could be a defined role for that Pokemon.
So here, like in the one shield, you actually lose to Meganium when you run Power Whip, Sludge Bomb, and then you actually tie with Meganium if you just go for Ancient Power. And
really?
Yeah.
All right.
And you're doing 2 Ancient Powers beforehand, so also chance for the buff, right? For the boost. So.
All right, so then maybe you will want to go Ancient Power Whip.
Yeah, the Venusaur is probably, I don't know, it's probably the same
Venusaur is. How does Wormadam look?
I think with Ancient Power, you also hit all the bug types.
Yeah.
ice types like Glalie and Frostlass that you wouldn't hit super effectively with
Sure.
grass coverage.
True.
Mhm.
So are we saying then Power Whip and Ancient Power is the
Yeah,
move?
I think that's the way to go because Power Up allows you to have a chance against Lapras and probably against Celio. I gotta check. And then Ancient Power allows you to at least threaten fires, threaten
Right.
bugs. Yeah, definitely the way to go. Plus a chance for the boost.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's not like you get stabbed on Sludge Bomb either, so
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
just pure grass.
It's an interesting Pokemon now, I guess.
It's not bad.
Someone's
Honestly,
saying-
Vine Whip is so good that all the Vine Whippers are going to be interesting.
Right.
It's still not ranked very highly in the Timeless Cup,
It's not.
but I think that's just because of its stat. Like, it's such a low level for Tangrowth. At 1500, it doesn't really have a lot of like HP.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's probably it's definitely the best Vine Whipper if you have a starter that's not grass, because you've got the three main Vine Whippers being Venusaur, Meganium, and Ivysaur, and
Right.
if you're gonna use like a Charizard or a Blaziken and you still want Vine Whip, you've got Tangrowth.
Go for the charge move plays. Go
Yep.
for Tangrowth. Pick up a Charizard.
Yeah,
It's so hard to beat Venusaur and Meganium, which is why I think it's really interesting that you can only have the one starter. It's a nice wrinkle because now if you want to use a Blaziken or a Charizard, then you have to just go to a second tier of Vine Whipper.
yeah. You definitely need Power Whip for these
Oh, for
Lapras
sure,
and-
yeah.
and
You need
Celio matchups.
Power Up is definitely what it would
Yeah, you CMP tie with Celio with Power Whip and baiting with Ancient Power, which is actually not even that bad of a bait. Like if you hit it with Ancient Power, you're still pretty decent. And then with Lapras, you actually beat it with Power Whip, and you just slightly lose without it. So I think the trade-off makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next one is Flamethrower on Heatran.
Yeah, it's good.
Necessary. I
Yeah.
think.
What
Yeah.
was it before?
It has Fire Blast. Oh my gosh, awful.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Still bad.
I know there are people are using it in Masters with Stone Edge Iron Head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire Blast just takes too long to get to.
Right.
And Fire Spin does enough damage with a fire that you can just kind of get away with it. But now that Flamethrower is actually accessible, it makes Heatran pretty good, especially with like Togekiss being so good at Masters. It's a pretty good wall for Togekiss.
I think it's viable in Ultra as well.
Let's see. I think it wasn't, but let me see. Heatran Ultra 128. Ouch.
All right, maybe not.
Ooh.
That's not terrible. Let's see.
I think the problem though is that like it's giving you Flamethrower for Registeel, but Registeel is going to swing back with Focus Blast. So
Right.
get that weird matchup that way.
I don't know if Matt's still watching, but the recommended moveset for Charizard is Wing Attack and Blast Burn, which is not possible. How much of that'll affect the ranking at all? It recommends Wing Attack, Blast Burn, and Overheat, which you can have, obviously.
Yeah, he's definitely commenting.
Oh yeah, he's still around.
Yeah, man. Once that CMP tie comes in,
Yeah.
you're definitely gonna see some shake up in the listing.
Oh yeah, high attack mons will see a nice jump. I think.
Good, which is good.
Yeah. So he said he's gonna fix the Wing Attack Blast Burn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, I think Flamethrower is a nice addition. It was already really good. Yeah, I guess when you run Stone Edge, Ironhead, yeah, as you said, Registeel or even Malmetal, you didn't necessarily have that much play.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
Yeah.
Flamethrower gives you a little bit more coverage, makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay, and then now we're getting into the last section, I know it's getting quite late, so we can get through this last section, then wrap it up.
Cool.
First one, Arcanine with Flamethrower.
I love Arcanine, but
Yeah.
I don't know what it does for.
It's Snarl, right?
Well, yeah.
Snarl, Wild Charge, Flamethrower.
I mean, it's good coverage.
It's so glassy though.
Yeah. It's a fire play.
Yeah.
CMP
I'd be
play.
surprised if it had much play, but it is good because with Arcanine, when you ran the Snarl variant, you didn't have any fire coverage for the most part, and now you have that a little bit more. But it's still an Arcanine.
Yeah, it's still pretty bad, but might have some play in Ultra, maybe.
Yeah.
Still not that great.
Yeah. Looks like PV Poke still kind of like wants you to do the Wild Charge Crunch variant, Flamethrower for like Spice, but being so far ranked low, doesn't look too good for our most beloved Pokemon of all time. Sorry, buddy.
So people in the chat are saying Dugong is allowed per Drumps.
Really?
Yeah. Which is,
Okay.
I guess, not that surprising. Like when we were running the Sims, and I think like slight over. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when we get the numbers. But
Well, Drums was saying earlier that it was most likely going to be banned, so I'm surprised that they changed their mind.
but I think they banned it thinking it was going to be too good.
Huh? Interesting.
Well, bye Celio.
I don't know. I mean,
Is it too good? That's the question. Like
I don't think it replaces Lapras more than Celio, to be honest.
okay.
Celio has that neutral spammability of Body Slam in other water matchups that Lapras doesn't do. I feel like if you're gonna run like double ice, you'd run Dugong and Celio before you'd run Dugong and Lapras.
So if when you run against the concentrated meta in Timeless, then it wins 20, loses 16, draws 1 in the
Okay. That good.
in the one shield. So like
Dugong went up to number 5 in Timeless with Water Pulse.
Wow.
Above Lapras.
Well
Wow.
done.
so I don't. It's good. It's gonna be good for sure. If you
gonna be
have
very
it, it definitely should be a strong consideration. But
Wow.
Yeah.
But Lapras wins 21, loses 14, draws 2. So it has a better matchups against the contrary meta.
That's the thing. What's Dugong going to replace? Is the thing you have to ask. Honestly, you might see less Glalie now. You give another option.
To be honest, not that many people are gonna have Dugong anyways,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
double legacy,
True.
pretty rare Pokemon. So
Yeah.
if you were running Glalie and you happen to have a double legacy, then yeah, sure, like definitely replace Glalie.
You're right. It might not shake up the meta as much as you thought it would.
Well, I just so happen to have one, but
Do you?
Well, fine then.
Okay.
I do.
It beats.
Let's see the stats. Let's see if it's gonna win CMP or not. Yeah, it's got 13 attack.
There you go. All right. You're not coming to LA, right?
No, unfortunately, I will not be there, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sorry, chat.
Oh,
Yeah, loses to Kingdra.
No one bring it to LA.
No, beats Kingdra. Loses to Lapras and Celio.
Yeah, it's hard walled by Lapras and Celio, which is the same Drapion problem. You know, it doesn't have any off type moves. Well, Drape had Crunch, but I mean, it takes a long time to get to that.
Just really annoy the Lapras. Just do if you get trapped in that matchup.
Just Icy Win the whole time.
Just icy win the
But
whole
it's
time.
the same way Mantan does.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh man, that would. That's definitely the way to go. Just annoy the heck out of it.
It would be a 30-minute battle.
Win. It's like a Mantine versus Lapras kind of battle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
one's let's see here. Okay. In the 2 shields, it's a 148.5. That's like over half the allotted time, right? almost half the allotted time. Yeah. Almost half the allotted time in that one matchup, and then yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
Okay, so Polyrath with Mudshot.
That's probably the one I was most excited about because it's got so much play in multiple different leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you can now have play with both Mudshot and Bubble because they have very different profiles. A lot of people are running Bubble in Sinister anyway, but now you can have both. Mudshot, Hydro Pump, then Aim Punch is so good. As just the general, just spammy hard charge moves go. It almost plays like a Registeel. You just you spam that Hydro Pump like crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely I like using an Ultra, so I think having access available to is great.
Yeah.
Machamp with Cross Chop.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, definitely.
The number 12 Great League Pokemon right now is Cross Chop Machamp. It's very good for a glassy Pokemon to have a quick charging charge move. It's so glassy that you want to get 2 charge moves off, and you more likely to get them off now with Cross Chop.
Yeah, Aquatail clone.
Yeah.
It also Machamp also gets close combat, so now with everyone knowing that it gets cross chop, you can really nuke someone with a close combat.
Yeah, no, it's true.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, if you wanted to run close, you need Rock Slide for the coverage, but if you wanted to choose between close combat or cross chop, you can play mind games with that.
I definitely could see some cups though where you might run double fighting.
Triple fighting.
Triple fighting. Yeah. So definitely pretty interesting.
I think the overall move pool is still very strong though. With all those different options.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And plus you still have Heavy Slam if you want it. Next one is Golem with Ancient Power.
I think this is useful, but you still need Mudshot in order to capitalize on it.
Which is Legacy, right?
Yeah.
That's the big one that you needed. Mudshot was the bigger Legacy that you wanted.
Yeah.
And Graveler.
If it had both of them, I think pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Typing's not great, but
typing's always bad. The rock and ground just compound a lot of the same weaknesses.
Yeah, not a lot to it. And then Shadow Claw and Gengar.
Huge.
Yeah, could see some play in Ultra.
Although less exciting for those of us who spent 6 months trading for.
Oh man, I traded all sorts of things to get Shadow Claw Gengars, like level 40 Mewtwo's and.
Oh, I traded so many things for my Shadow because, back when we were before PvP when we were raiding, it was just the best answer to everything. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And one of my most prized Pokemon is I have 100% now non-legacy Shadow Claw Gengar. And then I remember evolving that like 2 or 3 days before Gen 2 dropped when it became legacy. And anyways,
that's pretty cool. Can we throw an F in the chat for I know at least 5 people who transferred maxed 100% Hex Gengars.
Yeah.
So can we just
yeah.
Oh no!
So many people
Why would you do that?
Hex Gengars.
Yeah.
That's the real loss right here.
Yeah. No. I've kept I think I have 5 maxed out level 40 Hex Gengars.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them right now. I'm just like, I'm so glad I saved you guys.
Yeah.
I have 14 maxed Gengars. I have, I think 7 or 8 that are Shadow Claw and 4 or 5 that are Lick. And I'm looking at my 100 max hexes like, I'm never going to use you. And I almost transferred them.
Man.
But I didn't, so that's good. But I can understand why you would have, because it's so bad.
Yeah, especially when backspace is getting tight and all that stuff.
You have 7 or 8 shadow calls already. But,
right.
Yeah.
Now the interesting question is, do I keep my Lick Psychic Gengar? That's
got him. Can't hear you.
Yeah, he cut off.
Oh, sorry. So do I keep my my Lick Psychic Great League eligible Gengar, or do I roll it into a Shadow Claw? I only got one.
How many other shadow calls do you have?
With Shadow Claw, or with Lick Psychic, just the one. So it's like,
how many other shadow calls do you have?
But he wants Shadow Claw Psychic, right?
right.
Yes. Psychic Legacy. So.
Or should I hold on to Lick in case they change Lick up to give it like a different stat line? That'd be interesting.
I'd probably hold on to it the way it is. I don't think Shadow Claw Psychic is too important.
Right. I'm not using Shadow Claw anytime soon on Gengar for any cups, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good point. I have like 4 under no. Yeah,
Great League eligible?
Yeah, Great League eligible. With Psychic. I'm not sure what does Psychic give you in terms of coverage?
Right. I think we kind of said Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball does enough anyway. The Psychic doesn't really give you anything extra.
Yeah.
So.
Very, very nuanced type matchups. The next one, pretty meta relevant. Executor with Confusion.
I know you're happy about this, King.
Yeah, I traded mine. Well, that's fine. I was happy to trade it, but I for those that don't know, we like to do giveaways when we have our like little meetup stuff. So we held like a mini tournament where like each of the tables would play, then the winners of the tables would play, and then there would be finally one winner, and then or at least say 2 winners because there was like a lot of people.
Right.
And then I'm like, you can trade for whatever you want. And normally people ask for like, level 40 Shadow Ball Mewtwo or, level 40 Rayquaza or whatever. In this case, obviously these are battlers, and he's like, what legacy would you be willing to trade? So I gave him a few options, and he chose the Confusion, and it was really bad IV. It was like a 98% Executor. Right. So I traded it, and now it's come back. So.
There you go.
It's a pretty good Pokemon. I really liked using it in Rainbow, and had some play in Jungle as well.
It is very good in Rainbow. I remember that. Meanwhile, I used an Execute in Rainbow for some reason.
Which you might still want to run over it because it does have ancient power, so gives it a little bit better coverage.
And I maxed it already, so whatever.
Yep.
All right, and then Pinsir with Fury Cutter, I'm pretty excied about.
Yeah, he's doing work with the new close combat and moves that he's getting. Pinsir's looking much better with Fury Cutter since it generates energy like crazy.
I mentioned earlier that it's one of the only Pokemon that will beat the grasses and also beat Lapras and Celio, or also at least have play against Lapras and Celio, which is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
No, absolutely. Spicy pick. A viable spicy pick.
Right.
And then Gyarados with Dragon Breath and Twister. I think Dragon Breath is really important. Allows you to have... there's not that many non-dragons that learn Dragon Breath. So to be able to deal super effective to a dragon and not take it back is it's pretty
the
good.
Kingdra, the Seadra effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely a really good Pokemon Master League and a decent choice for Ultra League. And I think with the update, Gyarados is still highly ranked in Master League with Dragon Breath.
Yeah.
And now I can't flex my
I know
Dragon Breath Gyarados anymore.
I know, I have one too. Oh man, I have it.
That's okay.
I have it maxed out double move. It's 98, 15, 14.
Okay, this is really exciting. Not to go back to Pinsir, but it beats Lapras head-to-head with no bait.
No. Was it just
double
super?
Lapras.
Even after the debuff?
Yep. Even after the debuff. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
It gets there a turn sooner than Lapras gets to the second surf, and the second close combat still does 134 damage after the debuff.
Oh, which makes it actually makes sense. It still does 134 because it's only defensive debuff.
Oh, yeah, of course, right, though. But the thing is that Lapras does not get to the second serve.
Yeah.
You can bait to go for just the higher, the stronger win, but you don't have to. The fact that you can just do straight close combats against the Lapras and win is pretty huge.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and you're only taking, you're taking 16 more damage, which is 16%.
It is IV dependent. If it's a rank 1 Lapras, it survives a little bit longer because it hits a bulk point, but even then, it only wins with like 3 HP left. But against most Lapras, because seeing as Lapras' legacy, you don't get many rank 1s. Against most Lapras, the Pinsir will win straight close combating. And against every Lapras, it'll win if it lands a bait. So that's going to be a really, really fun Pokemon to use.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. Very interesting. You could also self-piggyback the close combat if you want, so your defense is not dropped. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's probably actually the way to go.
I think with Gyarados, the Twister is just kind of if we're going to add Dragon Breath, let's throw Twister back on there.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any move changes. If they added like a debuff on Twister, though, that would have been kind of cool, I guess. Make it a
future update.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twister is very bad, so that would make sense.
Interesting.
The only is that right? The only risk on running the self piggyback, at least when I run this pick your sim, is that you run into a CMP tie on the second close combat.
Okay.
Which means that instead of yeah. I mean, that might be just how the sim's functioning right now, but which means if you go up against a high one, then you might end up only getting off one and not actually doing damage, and then the Lapras has like 135 health. So.
Okay, now this is a big difference, and if Pinsir becomes meta, it might be a big Celio over Lapras. Celio beats Pinsir decisively if Pinsir does not land a bait, because Pinsir cannot get to the second close combat against Celio.
Yeah. Oh, so that one's bait dependent, but there's an option to.
Yes, it is bait dependent, but whereas Pinsir can just not worry about the bait and just outright beat Lapras, it needs the bait to beat Celio.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Celio is so good, man.
But the thing is, like, no shield in this one. Okay, yeah. Oh man. But that close combat does a ton of damage. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Almost one shot Celio.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So
You're
that's the
hyping it
thing.
up for a reason, that's for sure.
When you have that nuke option, you're more likely to get the bait shielded, which is nice. If you load up to a close combat and then throw the X-Scissor, you're probably going to get it shielded, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. All right. The next one, Body Slam on Snorlax.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They came back in the boxes for a bit there, so
we already have them, so
I think we got our Snorlaxes, but this would make it so that you can optimize IVs on it, I suppose, to make it a little bit better. But
true.
I mean, it needs the superpower to help it out a little bit too. So
I still like Munchlax a little bit more.
Yeah, it looks like Munchlax performs quite a bit better. Especially on the debuff, self debuff on Snorlax.
Yeah, even with superpower, Snorlax is still kind of way off there when in regards to like Great League.
Oh yeah, but for the other leagues, I'm sure it's
Ultra,
definitely better.
yeah, Lick, Superpower, Hyper Beam. Doesn't even want Body Slam.
Wouldn't want Body Slam?
Snorlax in Ultra League.
Yeah, you definitely want Body Slam instead of
Yeah,
Hyper
you
Beam.
do Body Slam.
Yeah.
PV Poke's saying like Superpower 45, Hyper Beam 24, Earthquake 14, and Body Slam 9.
What?
Yeah.
No, I think you need Body Slam. Maybe it's just assuming that Superpower is enough of a bait because it's not. It's 40 energy. That's probably assuming that you land a Superpower bait and then can get the Hyper Beam nuke.
Yeah, you oh man, yeah.
So a lot of people just run Body Slams. You know?
Yeah, with the Superpower Hyper Beam in Masters, you win 131 in the one shield. With Body Slam and Superpower, you win 184.
Let me just check something real fast.
So it should be it should be way higher. Yeah, it makes total sense. Like Snorlax is definitely one of the best in Masters.
For sure.
And you don't want to bait with Superpower because you're lowering your stats.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Teams might play it that way.
I wouldn't be surprised if it moved up to like top 15 in Masters.
Yeah, I think it's just because it was run with a different moveset. It's ranked really low at the moment, but as we said, when things shake out, Matt will update things as we go.
Even though it's suggesting Superpower and Hyper Beam, that is assuming a successful bait. If you turn off baiting, Snorlax has a 48 win percentage with Earthquake with Hyper Beam, and a 54% with Body Slam.
Yeah, but then you can also make that play of like where you go for the first charge move, and they're like, oh, it's just it's just going to be a Body Slam because they're not going to want to debuff and go Superpower right away, and then you blast them with the Superpower, and they're like, oh, okay, I didn't shield that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There are some mind games for sure, but I think you still want Body Slam for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely want Body Slam. I think it'll move up in the Ultra and in Masters ranking once Body Slam's applied.
Yes, it will.
Yep.
Pretty good in both. All right, and the last one, last but not least, Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, Dragonite.
Definitely, probably the most impactful of the ones that have come through for rating and for Master League.
Yeah.
And
so good.
In restricted, something like Cliffhanger or Dragonite's like it does get overshadowed by some of the other flyers or Altaria in this case.
Right, Altaria.
Right.
But like something like Cliffhanger meta, like it's definitely something worth looking at.
It's a very good. Yeah. I'd imagine if it was like a 5-point Dragonite against a 9-point Altaria, you might go that way. Obviously, it's not going to hold a candle to Altaria in any other format, especially with the same typing. But if it's a more cost-effective option,
For sure, and I think like having Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, Draco Meteor, certainly a strategy that you can go down if you want to really nuke something in the close game. Obviously, you can run like a little bit like another move like I guess like Hurricane is a what other moves does it get?
Hurricane.
That's mostly it. Yeah, according to PvP Pro, you want 70% Dragon Claw, 29% Draco Meteor, and 0.5% Hurricane.
Yeah, it's just Hurricane takes too long to get to, so
yeah,
and it doesn't really have like insane coverage.
It's very well covered. So most of the things that are weak to Hurricane are neutral to Draco Meteor, and they will get one shot anyway.
Yeah, the only thing is like fairies, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Yeah, that's only the only case. But Dragonite's so squishy. How many charms can you realistically survive?
Probably like 3.
Yeah.
But definitely a lot of play in Ultra and especially in Masters.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Definitely one of the top Pokemon in Masters. And it's like very brutal to get hit by Breath Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, new Draco Meteors is really good. So
Right.
Really really nice addition. I think they've done like a tremendous job. Are there any other legacy moves that you
Oh, yeah.
want to see come back?
All
You
of
think all of them? And if you guys each had to pick one.
Oh man.
Apart from Stone Edge Blaziken for the memes, Shadowclaw Haunter. I would like people to experience the power of Shadowclaw Haunter.
Shadow Ball?
Ball.
Or Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball. Yeah.
Shadow Ball Hunter was the big one that I was thinking too.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
I think
Yeah, go ahead. Alex?
double Legacy Magneton.
I think that one's huge. Yeah.
Yep.
Still don't have one, and I'm so sad.
Oh, man. Well,
To answer your question, a Dragonite can take 5 charms.
Okay. All right.
5
That's,
charms to each Dragonite.
7.5 seconds.
Each charm does 24 damage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, another Legacy. Another Legacy would be double Legacy Dugong. Would be cool.
Yeah,
Right.
double Legacy Dugong. I definitely.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Let me tell you.
that actually might be on the top of my trade list now. What
Yeah.
I want.
I agree.
Um,
For sure.
Yeah,
good.
it's funny because I took it from a friend, and I'm like, this thing's never gonna be useful ever. I'll just take it anyway. Oh, okay. Changed my mind.
Yeah.
Caleb saying Scald Poliwhirl.
yeah. If
Okay.
they ever
Has some
add
play.
burns into the game, that will be amazing.
Yeah. Someone saying Rock Throw, Rock Slide, Almastar, but Mud Shot, like
Mudshot's so good.
At least the Rock Slide,
Mhm.
the Rock
Right.
Slide portion gives you some
All
option.
of the rock throw damage would be you get to like an extra rock slide. So
Right.
with that,
I think something that would be super impactful, but even though it's not like good enough, maybe is Hypno, bringing it back with Shadow Ball and with Psyshock.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the Pokemon that is super reliant on IVs because it needs to get to that Shadow Ball at the end. Like it's like 150 battle rating, I think, if it's got bad IVs versus good IVs, which is huge.
Yeah.
You don't see that for most Pokemon, but giving it access for everybody without having to be lucky is super helpful.
That is
I
a
think
good
that would be a good one.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of really interesting ones. Hopefully they bring more of them back, but I think they definitely done a really good job in bringing back.
I think overall today's a very good day for PvP.
Is he?
Yes.
Lots of excitement. Now they just need to fix the TM issue.
Yes, please.
Right? Like, I'm sure that's definitely on their mind, right? You
Yep.
can tell like they're like experimenting by giving us more TMs this way, but I'm sure they're thinking about a way to fix the TM system. They just got to figure out a way to balance it out.
That's probably the biggest barrier to new players right now in the game is the PvP, the TM issue.
Yeah. I tweet it out every week on Thursday.
Yeah.
We want to rework TMs, and we want
how do you
charge moves cut in half.
What do you think the best way to approach it is?
Honestly, you could just sell them, put them in the shop for some coins.
Put in the shop or
If you can select them.
Which you wanted to TM to.
Yeah, I agree with both of those, but I think the better one would be if you could choose what TM you want to,
right,
or what move you want to go to. Like that.
Yeah.
That's just like such a great idea.
It is.
Yeah.
Because
If you want to think battler, you want to pick your move. If you want to think Niantic, we want to sell you the charge move.
Yeah.
So we got to meet in the middle.
Someone posted a video earlier about them using 10 charge TMs to get the same move that they started with, and it's so frustrating.
For
Even
sure.
if they don't want to increase the output of TMs, just increasing the efficiency by knowing that like one TM will get you the right charge move, it'll be a big difference.
Right.
No, I could see like even like maybe introducing a different TM that gives you that, and like maybe they only offer this new TM through the Go Battle League as they talk about prizes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the level 1 prize every week, right? That way you can get it, right? Because certainly they don't want, like, battlers are a small portion of the players, right? And obviously they don't want to ruin the economy of it all, but
True.
certainly, like,
Even if you could just like, if they had like a mega TM that required coins, I mean, that would work too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, not even, like, even if they don't want to go to the extent of you picking the move, because then it would make, like, Pokemon like Mew, for example, or Pokemon with large movesets, like, pretty OP.
Right.
Like, but even, like, I was, talking about the idea of, like, even just rolling the moves alphabetically.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of know how many TMs you need. Because,
Right.
like, okay, yeah, I need, there's 5 charge moves. I'm on the 4th last one. I need the first one. Okay, I just need two charge TMs.
Right. Just make sure that you don't want wild charge.
Yeah. yeah. You're at the very beginning. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I think just rolling in order is, but yeah, and making it more. I think that would definitely go a long way, and it's on their mind, I'm sure.
Yeah. TMs, and honestly, I need more friend space.
Friend space would be great.
Would be great. Yep.
Yeah. I've been at 199 for over a year, and it sucks. I feel I get like 10 requests a day.
And then second charge moves. Like, I know they rolled out like that Buddy 2.0.
Right.
Or the Gleeces in the code. Whatever it is. It'd be kind of cool if it allowed you to unlock the second charge move or something, right? Like, I don't know.
At least for cheaper Stardust, like half the Stardust for if it's a Buddy for like 10 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it'd be great. So I think all those things.
That'd be really cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. Anyways, any final thoughts? Things that people should take away from this update?
I think my main thought is that it's incredibly clear that Niantic is making their changes based on PvP. They're focusing on it. The last 3 or 4 updates have all been about PvP, and this is probably the biggest one. That's like them. I think that's their main focus, which is good. It's good for the game going forward that they're passionate about this, not like a throwaway aspect. And we can expect that they're going to try and make PvP as good as possible. So I think that's a good thing.
Gotem or?
Sure. So I guess if you just kind of look at the update itself and just kind of like see from a wide angle lens kind of what they're doing is they're kind of getting you prepped for the Battle League, telling you which leagues are going to be open, so keep your eyes on everything. And that you will be able to switch out of the debuffs and the buffs, so that will be as impactful. Fixing CMP to make sure that the games feel more fair, I think is awesome, especially from like a remote ladder kind of style of battling. They're definitely aiming for it to be fair in the long run. Giving the new moves, of course, is great. Making like Overheat, Draco Meteor, Psycho Boost kind of fall more in line with the mainline games makes it so it's more accessible to people that aren't doing PvP currently. To bring them in and they're like, oh yeah, I know what Overheat does. It drops your attack, blah, blah, blah. And having those more moves that change the stat lines makes it more close to what the main series games do, and that's more reliant on stat changing. And then adding new moves to make certain Pokemon more interesting or more fun, or then adding certain moves to target the meta. So you can tell that they know kind of what the meta is, and they target it to kind of even it out a little bit more. Giratina Origins of OP, so let's give Licky Licky and Stoutland some coverage. Things like that, I think, is showing that they're aware of the meta and they're willing to change it.
Right.
And then adding in the legacies is a way of saying we don't want the discrepancy from people that have been playing for a long time to have an advantage over new players.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the barriers of entry, the legacies, and it's good that they're making it easier to for new players to get involved.
Yeah, and that's just strengthening their revenue down the line. So if you want to make the feature work, it has to work great, but also generate revenue. So it's got to be nice, but it also has to generate revenue. So if you keep the new players out and they're like, oh, it's everything's too costly. I don't have the legacy moves. The meta is super stale. They're targeting those things already, which I think is fantastic. That they have someone, maybe Niantic Matt or more, that are willing to step up and do this for the battlers. I think is great. So give us some charge moves. We'll pay for them. That's fine.
Yeah,
Battlers will support your game.
Yeah, exactly. Alex, any final thoughts?
Yeah. I think the main thing is that the future of PvP looks really bright. I'm excited for Go Battle League. I don't know if I'm more excited for the next Silph Cup or the next update for Go Battle League, but either way, it's gonna be really fun, and I'm definitely excited. This is a really good and fun time for PvP, and it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get better, and we'll see where it goes. We're on this ride. Let's see how far it can go.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and definitely more eyes are. And when Go Battle League drops, we're gonna have a lot of new battlers. So hopefully, everyone in this chat will be very welcoming of them when they come to the Silph tournaments, or we engage in other tournaments. I think
come to LA, we'll hang out.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's gonna be a really, really bright future, and this was a great step by them, and applaud them for. I'm sure this took them a lot of thought and a lot of discussions on adding these things, and appreciate all the work that they're doing.
For sure.
Okay. Anyways, thank you, gentlemen, for joining the stream, and thank you everyone for joining us as well. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to drop a like on this video, and we're gonna tweet this out, and you guys know where to. You guys want to say your Twitter handles or YouTube or whatever, or Twitch?
Yeah. You can find me at ShutUpToshi on Twitter. ShutUpToshi9227. That's where I do most of my content.
Got him?
I can't hear him.
Okay, Alex, go ahead.
Out at HouseStark _93 on Twitter. That's where I have most of my stuff. Yeah.
Perfect. Got him? Are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's just it's Pogo got him on Twitch and on Twitter. So feel free to.
Okay, we didn't hear the last part, but I think they read your lips and knew what was happening. So
yeah, Pogo got him.
All right. Thanks everyone.